Jackson, slap those forms together over the east wing for a while, will you? We're laying concrete here.
Yeah, we're ready to pour the stuff, Bill.
Let it pour, Tom. We got to start the next floor tomorrow, and we're behind schedule.
21st floor already? That's not bad. We'll catch up.
I hope so, or Simmons might think he needs a new foreman.
Here comes concrete, Bill.
Come on, fellas, break that stuff down. Let's get some action here.
Some view down there, Bill.
Some drop, too.
Oh, did you have to mention that?
Look, Joe, just watch your step up here, and you can live forever on jobs like these.
Yeah, but who wants to live forever?
Well, there you've got...
Hey, Bill, what the... Tom, Mike, somebody come up here, quick. Bill's collapsed.
What's the matter with him, Joe? How's the dude get in?
I don't know. Just fell down like an empty sack. You better give me a hand with it.
Yeah, sure.
Signal for the elevator to come up empty. Think, Bill.
Oh, what's the matter?
Look, there's a bullet hole in him.
What? Bullet hole? Bill shot up here on the 20th floor, you crazy.
Wish I was, Tom, because Bill's dead.
Cash? Beneficial Finance Company has the cash you want for any good reason.
Just say the word.
Call up. Tell us how much you want and when you want it.
You're the boss.
Yes, you're the boss.
At Beneficial.
Right now, you get ready cash at Beneficial. The instant way to clean up bills. Buy the things you need. Do the things you want. For service that's just a little friendlier and faster, come to Beneficial for ready cash.
Cash. Just say the word.
When you want cash, for any good reason, just tell us how much you want and when you want it.
You're the boss.
You're the boss.
At Beneficial.
Beneficial Finance Company.
And now back to Boston Blackie. Enemy to those who make him an enemy. Friend to those who have no friend.
But, Farraday, you have to do something about these parking tickets.
Look, John, you've been telling me that for 15 minutes. And for 15 minutes, I've told you there's nothing I can do. Now, we might as well talk about something else.
Well, let's talk about Boston Blackie. I'm on my way up to see him. He's sick, you know.
Look, let's leave Blackie out of this.
What's the matter, Inspector? Don't you and Blackie get along?
What I think of Blackie is my own business. And nothing's the matter as long as he can't get out of bed.
Now, you know you're missing.
Yeah, like I'd miss a toothache. But let's not talk about him.
Good. Let's get back to those parking tickets of mine.
Oh, no.
As I said before, I'm the contractor on that building going up at 1021 50th Street.
Yeah, I know, but there's...
Police say my trucks are blocking traffic.
I know. I can't do anything about it.
Look, Farraday, that's a big construction job, 36 stories. My trucks have to park in the street while they're waiting to unload.
John, there's nothing I can do.
Look, you're a police officer. Can't you handle ordinary parking tickets?
A little while ago, you were talking about Blackie. Now you're talking like him. You know, maybe I'd better suddenly get busy.
Really, Farraday, isn't there something you can do?
Your trucks are parking illegally, John, and that's... Excuse me. Hello, Farraday speaking.
Inspector, a call just came in from 50th Street. Foreman for the Simmons Construction Company was shot to death 5 minutes ago.
What?
Yeah, while he was up on the 20th floor laying concrete. Nobody knows where the shot came from.
Well, what's the address?
Don't know where the guy got killed? 1021 50th Street.
Thanks. Get me a squad car, will you?
Yeah, you bet.
What's the matter, Inspector?
Maybe I'm going to work for you after all, John, but not on those parking tickets. You've just had a murder in your company.
What?
A murder. One of the foremen on that building you're putting up was just shot to death.
Oh, no.
No, he says. Yes. Now, don't get too upset about it. Murder's my business. I solve them every day. Now, come along and I'll show you how I do it.
I certainly will.
Oh, you were going to see Blackie, weren't you?
Yes, but I think that had better wait.
This won't hold you up long. Come on down to your building with me, and then we'll go up and see Blackie. Pull yourself together.
Well, my foreman murdered. It'll take time for me to get over this.
Cheer up, John. It's your foreman who's dead, and he'll never get over it.
How's Blackie doing in there, Shorty?
Shh, Miss Wesley, she's sleeping.
Oh, good. Something.
And the way he can't talk, that's what I call something.
Oh, laryngitis doesn't last. He'll get his voice back before long.
Gee, I sure hope so, Miss Wesley. Because unless you're here with Blackie, too, I ain't got nobody to talk to.
Oh, that's probably the doctor. Come in.
Hello, Miss Wesley.
Well, Inspector Farraday.
You know John Simmons, don't you? Don't you, Miss Wesley?
Oh, yes, of course. We met several months ago. I'm glad to see you again.
You're looking as lovely as ever, Miss Wesley.
Well, I'll have to see a photograph of Ever before I'm sure I like that.
Ain't nobody glad to see me.
Oh, Shorty.
Oh, as long as Blackie isn't with you, I'm always glad to see you, Shorty. You know Mr. Simmons, don't you?
Any guy who knows Blackie, I know, too. Hiya, Mr. Simmons.
A little puzzled at the moment, Shorty.
Look, John, will you believe me? It's as simple a murder case as I've ever worked on.
Oh, you must mean the murder of the foreman on that 50th Street building.
How do you know about that?
We heard it on the radio.
My company is constructing that building.
Oh.
That's why I'm so upset.
Look, John, let me worry about that murder. And let's not talk about it anymore. Now, come on, let's go in and see the invalid.
Well, just a minute. Mr. Simmons can go in to see Blackie, but I don't think you ought to, Inspector.
All I want to do is cheer him up, Miss Wesley. You know me.
I know Blackie, too. One look at you, and he'll probably strain his vocal cord trying to outshout you.
What's the matter with him, Miss Wesley?
He caught a very bad cold last week, and he still can't use his voice.
Well, that's what I've been waiting for. Come on, John, let's go.
All right, Inspector Farraday, you may both see him, but only for a few minutes now, mind you. I'll wake him up for you.
Imagine, for once he won't talk back to me.
Oh, he's awake already. Blackie, the inspector, and John Simmons are here to see you. Come on in, gentlemen, please.
Hello, Blackie. You certainly look fine.
Oh, John, glad to see you. Don't let him kid you, Blackie. You look awfully sick to me.
It's looking at you that's made me sick, Farraday.
I think you better go to a hospital, Blackie. Even your jokes need a doctor.
Darling, please don't talk.
No, just listen. You'll be surprised how much you'll learn.
There's been a murder at the building I'm putting up on 50th Street, Blackie. Wish you were out of bed to work on it.
If he gets out of bed and meddles in this murder case, I'll work on him. It's the simplest kind of killing. I know the killer already. The guy's wife. It's got to be her.
The killer could be anybody, even you, John.
Let's hope not.
Aren't you a wise guy, Blackie? John here couldn't be the killer. He was in my office when the foreman was shot.
Excuse me, Inspector, but if you found out where the shot came from...
Well, you don't have to be excused for that question, Miss Wesley. The shot was fired from one of the high buildings in the neighborhood, and we'll probably never know which one.
And the same goes for all your suspects, Farraday.
That voice of yours sounds awfully silly, Blackie.
Does it? Wait till you see how you look when you can't find your killer.
Miss Woods, I'm sorry to come to your home at a time like this, but your husband has been murdered, and it's my job to find out who killed him.
I understand, Inspector Farraday, but I don't know what I can do to help.
You can tell me who might have killed your husband.
But I don't know.
Look, Mrs. Woods, a guy doesn't get shot for no reason. But I can't find a reason.
There can't be any reason.
But there has to be. What did your husband do wrong?
Nothing.
You're telling me. I checked into his background. He was the most popular foreman on the job. He was a leader of his lodge. He was the best-liked guy in this neighborhood. What's more, he didn't have an enemy in the world.
Everybody liked him, Inspector.
Somebody didn't.
How could anyone ever dislike him? He never did anything wrong.
What kind of a husband was he?
A perfect one.
Seems to have been a perfect everything, including a perfect target.
Please, Inspector, I can't talk about this any longer.
I'm sorry, Mrs. Woods, but this simple murder is getting complicated. And I'm getting nowhere.
I'm sorry.
Look, Mrs. Woods, now, about your husband's family. Was there any trouble, jealousy or something like that,
Bill was awfully good to his family. He gave them everything he could.
Where? Maybe that's a clue.
What do you mean?
Maybe he gave his family too much, and you too little. And you might be the one who killed him. Did that, hit home, Mrs. Woods?
No.
And he was shot by a high-powered rifle from a long distance. Only you could know what he was wearing and exactly where he'd be and be able to spot him from far away.
That's not so.
I don't expect you to agree with me, Mrs. Woods. But I tell you something you can't expect.
Yes?
A complete investigation of what you were doing at the time your husband was killed.
I was sleeping.
Oh, so you were sleeping then, huh? Maybe you're going to have to prove that, Mrs. Woods. Because I'm wide awake now.
Shall I keep on reading, Blackie?
Yes, Mary. Go ahead.
All right. According to this newspaper, police say it is impossible to tell from which building the shot was fired, because Wood's fellow workmen can't agree in what position the dead man was standing when he was hit. But police, nevertheless, are searching all high buildings in the area in hopes of finding some clue.
Does it say what kind of a gun he was killed with?
Yeah, a high-powered rifle with probably a telescopic sight. He was shot through the heart.
Any motive?
No, according to this paper here, police have no idea why he was killed. He had no family troubles, no financial troubles, and his standing in the community was perfect. What are you writing, darling?
Something I want you to tell Farraday. Get him on the phone, huh?
Of course.
Here you are, Mary. Read this to Farraday slowly.
All right. Blackie, do you mean what you say in this note?
Afraid I do.
Oh.
Hello? Faraday speaking.
Oh, Inspector, this is Mary Wesley.
Look, don't bother me. I'm busy.
But I have an important message for you from Blackie.
I'm not interested.
Well, you should be. It's about Bill Wood's murder.
What does Blackie know about that?
Only this, that another workman is going to be killed in the same place and in the same way.
Matter, Tom? Nothing, Jack. Except I wish they'd get that west floodlight on. Those lights are making crazy shadows without it.
I'll send a man down to see if something can't be done. Don't let the shadows get you, Tom.
Yeah, but I was thinking, this is the exact spot where Bill Woods, the day foreman, got shot today.
I'm the night foreman, so what?
Doesn't it bother you?
Forget it. Hey, you guys, come on over here with those forms. Concrete's coming.
Doesn't it give you a funny feeling up here?
I'm going to have a heck of a feeling in the morning if the boss asks me why we haven't finished this 20th floor. Come on, let's get this concrete down. Come on, you guys. Hurry with those forms.
Concrete just come up on the elevator, Jack.
Good. Get those guys over with it fast, Rich.
Hey, Jack, what's the... Holy mackerel! He's dead!
When you're shopping for a new car, what do you consider? Styling, power, miles per gallon? You know, it sure pays to consider all the facts when you buy a new car. And the same goes for buying car insurance. Today, Nationwide Car Insurance offers you the broadest protection in the industry. Claim service is fast, too. In fact, Nationwide Mutual of Columbus, Ohio, pays over half of its auto claims within 24 hours after notice of loss. Yet Nationwide's rates are among the lowest. It's your best buy by far, and your Nationwide agent can tell you all the reasons why. Call him soon. He's in the yellow pages.
Nationwide auto insurance, your best buy by far. Nationwide auto insurance, always the best for you and your car.
And now back to Boston Blackie. Boston Blackie is confined to his bed with laryngitis. But that hasn't prevented him from predicting that a second murder would follow the mysterious killing of Bill Woods, shot to death by a high-powered rifle while he was working high over the city in a building under construction. Faraday questions Bill Woods' wife, only to be reassured of what he already knows, that Bill Woods had no enemies. As we return to our story, it is shortly after the second killing, and Mary Wesley and Shorty are in Blackie's apartment, when Farraday and John Simmons, employer of the two dead men, break into Blackie's bedroom.
Blackie, I want to talk to you.
So do I, Blackie. You know something about these killings.
Please, gentlemen. Blackie's sick.
He's going to be a lot sicker when I get through with him.
Blackie, how did you know Jack Barnes was going to be killed?
I didn't know it, John. Just a guess.
Hey, you know something, Blackie. Now, who told you?
It's just a guess, I tell you.
Now, you tell me a lot of things that aren't true.
Blackie, how did you know the second foreman would be killed? Now, this is serious. 2 of my men have been murdered.
Hey, you think you have a serious problem, John. What about me? I have 2 murders to solve, and no suspect. I know both Bill Woods and Jack Barnes were killed by the same person.
How do you know that, Inspector Farraday?
I know it, Miss Wesley, because they were both killed by the same gun.
And you have no idea why they were killed?
If I know why they were killed, I might have a clue to their killer.
You know, what surprises us is that you don't think it's Blackie.
I'm beginning to wonder about him, I'll tell you that. It'd be just like Blackie to get out of bed and kill Jack Barnes just to make your guess come true.
Not this week, Farraday. Blackie is not in the mood for murder.
Hey, Blackie, what are you writing?
Maybe it's my will.
I couldn't have that much luck.
The paper said there was no reason why Bill Woods should have been killed, Inspector Farraday. What about Jack Barnes?
Same thing. He was just as well liked as Woods, if not better. You know, there's always a reason for a guy getting killed. But this time I have 2 guys and no reasons.
Well, who have you talked to?
Everybody, including Bill Woods' wife. Hey, what are you writing, Blackie?
Just a minute.
Inspector, what was Bill Woods' wife like?
Oh, nice-looking girl. In fact, I'd say she was beautiful. I thought for a while maybe she killed her husband. But I haven't found anything to prove it.
Well, if she killed her husband, why would she have killed Jack Barnes?
I didn't say she killed Jack Barnes.
But you said the same person killed them both.
Huh?
That's right, Farraday. You did say that. Because they were both killed in the same way and by the same gun.
Hey, wait a minute. Mrs. Woods has no alibi. Nobody saw her at the time of her husband's death. She says she was sleeping. Blackie, will you stop writing?
Oh.
I didn't think you would.
You were talking about Mrs. Woods?
Oh, yeah. Maybe Mr. and Mrs. Woods didn't get along. She could have killed him for that. And maybe she killed Jack Barnes because Jack knew she was the one who killed her husband. Hey, I'll see you later.
Where are you going, Inspector?
See Mrs. Woods. Maybe she'll claim she was sleeping again when Jack Barnes was killed at 8 o'clock last night. Why don't you knock off a little sleep yourself, Blackie? Judging by your jokes, you need it.
Blackie, will you do me a favor? Solve these 2 murders for me. Not only because the killer ought to be caught, but, well, men on the building are beginning to get restless.
I can understand that.
I'll try, John.
Thanks, Blackie. I'd appreciate it. Let me know if I can help you in any way. I'll be at home.
I'll take you to the door, Mr. Simmons.
Thanks, no, Miss Wesley. I can find my way out. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.
I'll be grateful for any help you can give me, Blackie. Goodbye.
Mary. Or Shorty.
In the other room, I'll call him. Shorty!
I have a little job for him.
Shorty! Oh, well, darling, why not let me do it?
I'll need you here.
Okay.
You want me, Miss Wesley?
Yes, I do.
Oh, what do you want?
Blackie wants you to do something for him.
Oh, sure, Blackie. Anything you say.
Look, short one. Faraday's having trouble with these murders.
Hey, you want me to solve them, boss?
Indirectly. I've written out a few instructions. All you've got to do is follow them.
Is this the East Wing, nurse?
Yes, sir, it is.
I'm Inspector Farraday of the police. I'd like to see Mrs. Bill Woods.
She's sleeping now, Inspector, but of course, if it's important, I'll waken her.
Now, wait a minute. When was she admitted to the hospital?
About 6 o'clock yesterday evening, according to our record, Inspector.
6 o'clock.
It's right here on my desk. I'll get it for you.
She was admitted early last night. She couldn't have killed the second fool.
What'd you say?
Huh? Oh, nothing.
Oh, here you are, Inspector Farraday, Mrs. Wood's record.
Admitted at 6:15. Nervous prostration. I'd like to take a look in Mrs. Woods' room. That woman in there might not be Mrs. Woods.
You policemen think of everything, don't you?
Well, we have to, you know.
Yeah, I know. Well, here's a room. I'd appreciate it if you wouldn't have to wait.
Oh, I won't.
Well?
There, you can close the door again, miss.
Well, is that Mrs. Woods?
I'm afraid it is.
Afraid, Inspector? Why?
I'm afraid Boston Blackie's going to stay in bed and find the answer to this before I do.
Oh, maybe that's Shorty reporting, Blackie. I'll get it. Hello?
Miss Wesley, this Shorty.
Oh, yes, Shorty. Have you finished?
Yeah, I done everything Blackie said.
Just a minute. He's finished with your instructions, Blackie.
Good. Have him tell you what he found out. Only hold the phone so I can hear him, too.
Right. Shorty.
Yeah?
Blackie is listening to this, too. So tell him what you found out.
Okay. First, I went to Bill Woods' house, see? His wife wasn't there. She went to the hospital just after the inspector talked to her.
Yes?
And there wasn't nothing wrong with Bill Woods. He was okay, just like Farraday said.
What about Jack Barnes, the second foreman?
Well, I'd say he was even more okay than Bill Woods. I talked to his wife. Boy, was she a beaut of a tomato. Real flickaroo.
Never mind that, Shorty. What about Jack Barnes himself?
Oh, he was solid, Miss Wesley. Swallow his wife, great to his kids. Had a real ritzy house. All done up slick inside. Yeah, he was an okay guy in the neighborhood.
What else?
Well, that's about all, I guess.
Well, thanks, sure. Oh, wait a minute. Blackie has written something he wants you to do. Now, just a minute. Here we are. He needs a photograph of Jack Barnes' house.
What for?
I don't know what for. But do it just the same, will you?
Oh, sure, I'll do it. But it sure is crazy.
Don't worry about it, Shorty. Maybe Blackie thinks a photograph is about the only thing this investigation will develop.
Well, if you won't tell me why you want his photograph, Blackie, will you at least tell me why you want these 2 hunks of concrete?
I want to look at them, Shorty.
Oh, Blackie, you're getting sand all over your blankets.
Maybe those 2 foremen were killed because of the sand in these pieces of concrete.
You're joking.
Guessing. But the sand in this piece is different from the sand in the other.
Oh, and maybe one isn't as good, huh? Well, maybe an inferior grade of sand could be a motive for this murder.
Right. Shorty.
Yeah, boss.
Take these pieces of concrete to a laboratory and have them analyzed.
Oh, sure, boss. Right away.
And Mary.
Yeah?
Call Farraday and John Simmons. Ask them to come up here.
You never fail, do you, Blackie? Even flat on your back, you're going to put Inspector Farraday back on his feet.
Well, I wish I knew what...
All right, Blackie. Everybody is here and waiting.
No, I don't.
Now, are you going to tell me who killed those 2 men?
You're going to tell us, Mary.
I am.
You're going to read the answers as I get through writing it.
Oh.
Nobody knows the answer, Blackie, because so far there isn't one.
Well, Inspector Farraday, maybe you're right about Mrs. Woods.
The same person killed both Woods and Barnes. And Mrs. Woods was in the hospital when Barnes was shot. Hey, what's this photograph?
It's a picture of Jack Barnes' home.
What's it doing here?
I've been trying to find that out ever since Shorty brought it to us.
Here's the answer to everything, Mary. Read it and watch Farraday weep.
Blackie, you're just wasting your strength and my time.
Ignore the inspector and read those notes, Mary.
Everybody ready?
Yes.
Yeah, we're ready.
All right. Here's what Blackie's written. Quote, there are 3 people involved in this crime. A, B, and C.
Yeah.
Now, just a minute. A was the first to die, killed by B. B died next at the hands of C.
I tell you, the same person killed both A and B.
Well, now, here's what Blackie writes about that, Inspector.
What?
Both persons were killed in the same way by the same gun, but not by the same killer. In this case, 2 killers used the same gun.
All right, that's possible. But what about motives?
Wait a minute. Here is the motive paragraph, Inspector. A, Bill Woods, was killed by B, Jack Barnes.
Huh?
Now, let me finish. Because Woods told Barnes he thought the grade of concrete used in the building was inferior. Barnes knew it was, went to see, and received instructions to get rid of Woods. He got rid of him by killing him.
I can check on that concrete.
It's already checked. Here's the lab report Shorty got.
You're trying to do my job for me, huh, Blackie?
He's done it, Inspector. Listen to this. After Barnes killed Woods, he went to C and demanded more money to keep quiet about the inferior concrete.
But if
So C killed Barnes. In other words, there were 2 different killers, but the motive for each murder was the same.
Now, I've read nursery rhymes that solved a crime better than this. Who's this guy C, or is a guy named D going to kill him?
Hold your breath, Inspector. C is in this room, sitting in the chair beside you.
Huh?
C is the boy, John Simmons.
I've heard just about enough of this comedy. Haven't you, Inspector?
Yeah, I certainly have, John.
Wait a minute, please.
I suppose there's more to that note of Blackie.
There is. Shorty!
Yeah?
Shorty, tell Inspector Farraday what you found in John Simmons' house.
Oh, sure, Miss Wesley. It was the murder gun. A high-powered automatic rifle, see, with a telescope sight. Fired twice.
Satisfied, Inspector?
No, not until I see it.
Sure, Inspector, I'll go get it.
Inspector Farraday, grab Mr. Simmons. He's trying to get away.
I'll grab him. Let go of me. Let go. I'll let go of you after I let go of this. Now get up. Come on, up.
All right. All right.
If you want to talk, John, it may go a lot easier on you.
Why should I talk? You know about the concrete. You have the gun. You don't have to know anymore.
Yeah. I know you were lucky enough to be in my office with a story about traffic tickets at the time Woods was killed.
That wasn't luck, Inspector. That was because he knew when Barnes was going to kill Woods. He planned to be in your office at that time.
I can figure this out from here, Miss Wesley. Come on, John. Why did you kill Barnes?
Well, the answer to that is easy, too, Inspector. Mr. Simmons was being blackmailed by
Quiet, Miss Wesley. Come on, John, you better talk. How did you get the gun that killed the first foreman?
Oh, I know that one, too. Barnes gave it to him to hide.
Hey, look. Where are you getting all these answers?
Blackie wrote them out for me. And here's the last one. Simmons thought it would mislead police if both men were killed in the same manner.
Yeah, you certainly misled us plenty, John. But there's nothing misleading about your going to jail. Hey, where's Shorty with that murder gun?
You tell him, Mary.
Well, you have a confession now, so I can tell you, Inspector. We were, just guessing about that gun. But we know now you'll find it in Mr. Simmons' house.
Well, concrete caused 2 murders. I guess that's that.
Oh, wait a minute. Blackie's writing something more. Here, I'll take it, darling.
What does it say?
It says, Farraday, this is one time a murderer will be convicted on concrete evidence.
Oh, that's a wonderful pile of blocks, baby. But be careful you don't make it too high. Oh, you knocked it over. That wasn't very nice.
Well, I'm leaving, Mabel.
I hope you have everything in that suitcase. I don't want you coming back.
Fine wife you are. The doc and his wife fire me, and you ask if you can stay to take care of that kid. Why I don't break your neck, I don't know.
Oh, please leave me. You're upsetting the baby.
Don't worry, I'm not going to hit Mabel again.
No, certainly aren't. Here. Here's your salary. Now get out or I'll have the doctor come upstairs. Here's your money, Robert.
Keep your money. What's a few dollars to me when I'm worth $25,000?
Oh, are you?
Well, I'm going to be as soon as I sell that pearl necklace of yours.
My necklace is in the safe right here. At least it was half hour ago. I saw it. And you haven't been out of the house all morning. You can't have it.
Open the safe and see, Mrs. Williams.
That's exactly what I'm doing.
Never mind the combination. It's already open.
Bob, did you open that safe?
Sure I did, and I took out the pearls. Are they there, Mrs. Williams?
No. No, the pearls weren't there. But this gun was. And you're going to stand right where you are, Robert, until the police get here.
Sure. Call the police, Mrs. Williams. But I'll tell you something. I've got your necklace, but the cops can search me and this house from top to bottom and never find it.
It's summer money time. Yes, it's summer money time. Come to Beneficial now. It's summer money time.
Right now, it's summer money time at Beneficial Finance Company. Get the cash you want for a wonderful vacation, to clean up leftover bills, or for any good reason. You'll find the service just a little faster, just a little friendlier. And you get this Beneficial Extra, your own international credit card, good for cash wherever you go.
Cash, just say the word, you're the boss. At Beneficial, where winter, it's summer money time.
And now meet Dick Kollmar as Boston Blackie, enemy to those who make him an enemy, friend to those who have no friend.
All right, clear your throat now, Blackie, and try your voice. Oh, wait a minute now. Wait, another spray or two, and then try it. All right, now.
I think it'll be all right now, Dr. Williams.
It should be, Blackie. You haven't used it for 2 weeks.
Say, this is the day I've been waiting for. May I use your phone?
Of course. Use the one on the right. The other phone connects with my apartment upstairs.
This is what you really call a home office, huh?
Oh, you could put your voice to better use than that, Blackie.
I'm going to put it to a great use, Dr. Williams. I'm going to phone Inspector Farraday and really tell him off.
Oh, excuse me. Here's my apartment calling. Yes?
Dr. Williams, this is Mabel.
Yes, Mabel. What is it? Something the matter with the baby?
Dr. Williams, call the police right away.
What?
Bob, my husband, has stolen Mrs. Williams' pearl necklace, and she's holding him here with a gun.
I'll be right upstairs. I'll call the police from there. Come on, Blackie, upstairs.
What's the matter?
My wife's pearl necklace has been stolen.
Just call the police, Doctor. Have them look for it.
But
if Inspector Farraday finds out I was upstairs in your apartment a few minutes ago, he won't look for the pearls. He'll look for me. So long.
All right, let's tear this room apart if we have to. We'll find that necklace for you, Mrs. Williams. Now, this is the last room in the house. It has to be in here. Keep looking, Rollins.
You didn't find anything on Robert, Inspector?
No, not a thing, Dr. Williams. He's in the next room putting his clothes on. Say, do you know who Robert Atkins is?
Oh, no.
One of the most famous jewel thieves in the country.
Yes, but this time you don't have anything on me, Copper. I'm getting out of here.
Not a thing in this room, Inspector.
It's bound to be in here, Rollins. Keep looking.
Okay.
Inspector, Robert here hasn't been out of the house today. The jewels were in the safe this morning. The necklace must be somewhere in this house.
I know that, Doctor. But tell me where I haven't searched in this house, and that's where you'll find the stolen pearls.
Stolen, Inspector? You mean missing, don't you?
Stolen. You admitted you stole them, didn't you?
Not to you, I didn't. And until you can prove I took them, those pearls are just missing. And you're going to have to let me go.
Go ahead, Atkins. Beat it. I know you don't have the pearls on you, so you're not getting away with a thing.
Don't be too sure.
I'm plenty sure. I'm sure those pearls are still in this house. And I'm going to put a police guard on duty here to make sure you never get back in to pick them up. Now, scram.
With pleasure.
Inspector, you shouldn't have let him go.
I had to let him go, Mrs. Williams. I have nothing on him. But don't worry. I won't let him out of sight. Hey, Rollins.
Yes, sir.
You and Thompson trail Atkins. One of you keep an eye on him all the time.
You're bad, Inspector. Come on, Thompson. We don't want him to get
Inspector Farraday.
Yes, Doctor?
If Robert hasn't walked out with those pearls, if he couldn't have taken them out of the house this morning, if they're still in this house, where are they?
If I could answer that one, Dr. Williams, I'd quit the force and work on quiz programs.
Excuse me, I thought everyone had gone.
No, Mabel. Robert is gone. He didn't have the pearls.
Oh, I'm so glad. He was lying then, wasn't he?
No, Mrs. Atkins. I don't think he was lying. As I told you before, I think he stole those pearls. And I think you're in on the scheme with him.
Oh, please, Inspector. Just because I married a thief, that doesn't mean I'm one, too.
You know Mabel doesn't have the necklace, Inspector. You had the matron search her, and she found nothing.
Yeah, I know that. That's all I do know. Atkins took those pearls. He hasn't got them. His wife here should know where they are. She says she doesn't. What a mess. There's only one thing missing from this case.
Hello, Inspector Farraday.
Uh-huh. Here's that one thing. Blackie, what are you doing here?
I came to see Dr. Williams, but one look at your face convinces me you need a doctor more than I do.
Hello, Blackie.
Blackie, how are you?
Hello, Mrs. Williams. Hello, Doctor. Well, now that Faraday's here, what else has been stolen?
How'd you know anything was stolen here, Blackie?
I heard it over the radio, so I thought I'd come over and solve the whole case for you, Inspector.
Well, go back and listen to your radio again. Maybe you'll hear of a case in South America.
I'm interested only in your cases, Faraday, the ones that are never solved until I come along.
Well, you can get along this time, because this one is already solved. Bob Atkins stole those pearls.
Can you prove it?
Can I prove it? Can I prove it? Why... No.
All right, Faraday. Where do you want me to begin?
Begin by going out the door, and end by staying out of my way.
And leave you muddled up in the middle? Oh, nothing doing. I couldn't do that to you or my conscience.
Please not so loud. The baby doesn't like it.
Mabel, I think you better take Carolyn inside.
Yes, Dr. Williams, right away.
Now, let's see. Where were we?
Getting nowhere, I'm afraid, Blackie.
Well, I'm getting somewhere. Out of here. And you get out of this case, Blackie.
You know what I'll get out of it, Farraday. The solution. And my own personal satisfaction.
Don't pay any attention to anything he says, Mrs. Williams.
But,
Now, I'm leaving a policeman and a matron here to search everybody every time they go out of this house. Those pearls are still here, and somebody's trying to get them out.
We understand, of course.
I'm going back to headquarters until I hear from the men trailing Atkins. I'll be in touch with you as soon as I know something.
All right, Inspector.
Thanks, Mrs. Williams.
thanks. Blackie, for what?
For not telling Farraday that I was up here this morning just before you missed the pearls.
Why, I just didn't think of it. Or I would have told him, I guess. Oh, there's the doorbell. Mabel?
Yes, Mrs. Williams.
Can you answer the door, please?
Yes, ma'am.
I think Farraday made a mistake, Blackie. Atkins took those pearls out of here when the inspector let him go.
I doubt it. The police searched them, and they're very thorough.
Mrs. Williams.
Yes, Mabel.
Mr. Horace Spaulding to see you. From the insurance company.
Oh, yes, we've been expecting him.
Thank you.
That will be all, Mabel.
Yes.
I'm Mrs. Williams, Mr. Spaulding.
Oh, how do you do, Mrs. Williams?
This is my husband.
How do you do,
Doctor?
And, this is Boston Blackie.
How do you do? That was quite a valuable necklace you lost, Mrs. Williams. You have it insured with my company for $50,000.
And it's really more valuable than that.
Yes, I know. So suppose we get right to work and see if we can't find it.
The police think our handyman, Robert, took it. But nothing was found on him.
I'll get my report on him directly from the police, Mrs. Williams. But can you tell me who was in the house at the time the robbery was discovered?
Well, Robert and his wife Mabel were here. I was, of course, and my husband was downstairs in his office with Boston Blackie.
Oh.
Oh, Blackie, I'm so sorry.
Boston Blackie, huh? It seems to me that name has appeared in connection with several jewel robberies.
Arrests, but no convictions, Spaulding.
There's always a first time, You'll hear from me later, Mrs. Williams. And, Blackie, I think perhaps you will, too.
Inspector Farraday speaking.
Inspector, this is Horace Spaulding of the National Insurance Company.
Oh, yes, Spaulding. Did you get my report on the Williams jewel robbery?
Yes, thanks. Just arrived. Your men are still trailing Robert Atkins?
Yes, I just heard from them. Atkins hasn't made a suspicious move yet, but give him time, he will.
You think you have the right man?
Well, I don't have the proof yet, but,
I'll give you a little tip, Inspector.
Yeah, what?
It's just possible that Dr. and Mrs. Williams are crying wolf for the insurance company.
Uh-huh. You may have something there. I think I'll follow that up. Say, that necklace was insured for plenty, wasn't it?
$50,000.
Well, maybe they did rob themselves. No, I'm going out to see them about that.
Now, you know who I'm going to see?
No, who?
Boston Blackie.
Oh, no. No, he's not mixed up in this. He can't be.
He might be, Inspector, because he was in the house when Mrs. Williams discovered the robbery. I think maybe that's something you want to know.
Something? When Blackie's at the scene of a crime, that's all I want to know.
Oh, that's fine, Mary. Well, I have some work to do right here in my apartment, so phone me here as soon as you're through, huh? Okay, goodbye. Come in.
Mind a visitor, Blackie?
No, not at all, especially one I've been expecting, like you. How's the insurance business, Spaulding?
Picking up.
Picking up what? Clues?
And people who steal pearl necklaces we insure.
Subtle, aren't you?
Blackie, I'm convinced that there's more than one person involved in the theft of the Williams pearls. I'm sure Atkins isn't working alone.
Excuse me.
Keep the conversation short, will you? I don't have too much time.
Hello?
Blackie, this is Peggy Williams.
Oh, yes.
Blackie, I want to apologize for telling that insurance agent you were here.
Oh, that's all right. I would have told him myself sooner or later.
He'll be coming to see you, I guess.
I know that. He's here right now.
You mean he was, yeah?
Hey, Spaulding, wait a minute.
He's there now, Blackie?
Well, he was, but all of a sudden he just walked out the door.
I wonder why.
Well, I don't know, but I think I'd better go out and try to catch him. I think he knows something.
About the pearls?
Well, he seems to have some theory about how they were taken, who took them. All I could get out of him was a word or two.
Blackie, you really think he knows who took them?
I'm going out and try to catch him in the hall and find out. I'll call you back. Goodbye.
Bye.
Now, what made him leave like that? Hey, Spaulding! What? Wow. They say dead men tell no tales. And you're not going to be an exception to the rule, are you? Uh-oh, the elevator.
Hello, Blackie.
Goodbye, Farraday.
Who's that on the floor, Blackie? What's the matter with him?
That's Spaulding, the insurance detective. And there's nothing wrong with him that a little light wouldn't cure.
You did it, Blackie, huh? Hey, what's the idea of pulling out a gun?
Why, Inspector? To make sure you don't bother me while I pull out of here right now.
Nationwide, all get by. Combine, auto insurance, always the best for you and your car.
And now back to Boston Blackie. Blackie is in trouble with the police. He's suspected of stealing a $50,000 pearl necklace and accused of killing the insurance agent investigating the case. So far, Farraday has been able neither to catch Blackie nor find the missing pearls, which Bob Atkins said he stole. But the police cannot find the necklace, so Atkins is a free man, although he is being shadowed by the police. Farraday, however, is turning most of his attention on Blackie, who, as we return to our story, is in the basement workshop of Dr. Williams, from whose home the necklace was stolen.
You look pretty good with a hammer and nails, Dr. Williams.
Well, carpentry's my hobby, Blackie. I've made most of the baby's toys down here, you know. Wagon or building squares. That string of blocks she plays with all the time. And her toy box.
Uh-huh.
And this, believe it or not, this is going to be a dollhouse someday. Say, look, Blackie, maybe you shouldn't be here.
Oh, it's safe for the moment. I locked Farraday in my apartment before I left. It should take him a while to get out.
Who murdered that fellow Spaulding, Blackie?
Ask Farraday, and he'll tell you I did.
Well, now, look, if he thinks that, I don't see how you got away from him.
Oh, it was very simple. I found Spaulding dead in the hall. The minute Farraday stepped out of the elevator, I pulled a gun on him, backed him into a closet in my apartment, locked the door, and beat it.
Oh? Well, how are you going to get away from him the second time?
I'm going to make sure that there isn't any second time. I think we'd better tell Mrs. Williams or the baby's nurse to warn us if Farraday shows up, though.
Oh, the nurse went out about an hour ago and hasn't come back yet.
Harry.
Oh,
Harry, come up here quickly.
It's my wife upstairs. Come on.
Right with you, Doctor.
Yeah, this way, up these stairs.
Okay. I'm right with you.
Peggy! Peggy, where are you? What's the matter? What's wrong?
Come in here. Harry, look. Look at poor Mabel.
What? Sorry, I'm in so much trouble.
Mabel, what happened to you?
It's Bob.
You saw him, Mabel? Where?
Just a few blocks from here. I met him on the street. Tried to force me to go with him. When I wouldn't, he hit me and knocked me down.
He wanted you to go with him? Where?
I don't know. He didn't say. But he got away from the policemen who were trailing him, and he's leaving town on the 5 o'clock train.
Leaving town, and that means he has the pearls. He wouldn't leave without them. Where's the phone?
On that desk there, Blackie.
What are you going to do, Blackie?
Phone Farraday. This is something he ought to know.
Oh, look, wouldn't Farraday already know it? He's supposed to have men trailing Atkins.
Could be, but Atkins is no fool. According to Mabel, he took them hours ago.
Well, if Atkins got away from Faraday's men, maybe he killed that insurance agent.
I've thought that for some time.
Mabel, I think you'd better come upstairs with me and let me fix those cups.
All right, Mrs. Williams, thank you very much.
Hello, Farraday speaking.
Inspector, this is Blackie.
Stay where you are, Blackie. You're under arrest.
And you're under delusions, Inspector.
Where are you?
Never mind where I am. I just called you to tell you that Robert Atkins is leaving on the 5 o'clock train. He's going to catch that train unless you go down to the station and catch him.
I told you when you brought me in your office, Inspector Farraday, you wouldn't find the pearls on me. That's right, Atkins, so I didn't. But we'll find them in that suitcase of yours. You have to have some reason for trying to get on that 5 o'clock train. Well, sure I had a reason. I needed a vacation. And I don't like to be yanked off trains. I could sue you for false arrest for this. You'll sue me from jail, then. And maybe the warden will be your lawyer. Yeah, Rollins?
No luck, Inspector.
What do you mean, no luck?
We tore this guy's suitcase into little pieces and no necklace.
Well, I'll be. You'll be seeing me, Inspector. Wait a minute, Atkins. What for? You don't have anything on me. Did I hear of a guy named Horace Spaulding? No. You know he was murdered earlier this afternoon? No. Well, I think you know him. And I think you killed him. You don't hold me for what you think. Now, let me tell you something. I've been nice about this so far. You've tried to arrest me twice, and I haven't squawked. So? Now, get this and get it straight. You lay a hand on me once more, and I'll go straight up to the DA. And you'll go straight back to pounding a beat.
I can't understand it, Dr. Williams. If Atkins didn't take those pearls out of his house, they're still here somewhere.
But where, Blackie? The police searched everywhere, and so have we.
Farraday said on the phone he had to let Atkins go again?
Yes, and poor Mabel. I had to warn her to be careful when she went out. She got one beating from her husband. I'm just afraid if they meet again, she'll get another.
You're right. She's in the spot.
I don't imagine she'll feel safe until Farraday does put her husband in jail.
Well, I won't feel safe till we tag Spaulding's killer and find those pearls.
Blackie, you really think those pearls are in this house?
Well, they have them taken out. A policeman and a police matron searches everyone who goes out of the house, don't they?
Well, I know I'm searched every time I go out on a call.
And your wife and Mabel, too.
Yes, every one of us, every time we go out.
Oh, Dr. Williams, I'm taking Carolyn out for a walk in the park.
Oh, all right, Mabel, but don't keep her out too long.
No, I won't.
Wait a minute, Mabel. I'll go to the door with you.
That won't be necessary.
But I want to talk to you.
Oh.
I'll be right back, Doctor.
Take your time.
Bye-bye.
Mabel, I know it's a relief to you to know your husband isn't in jail, but by the same token, don't you think it's unsafe for you to go out walking?
Why is it?
Well, he's still under suspicion, you know. He's being watched by the police. If you happen to meet him again, the police might begin to suspect you, too.
I'm not worried about that. How can I have the pearls? I was just searched by the matron.
Mabel, you're in trouble, do you know it?
No, I don't.
Well, you are. And I'd like to help you.
I don't want your help, thank you.
Why not?
You're in trouble with the police yourself.
Am I?
You were found with that insurance man's body, and you pulled a gun on that police inspector. If I'm seen with you, it'll really get me in trouble with the police.
All right, Mabel. Don't say I didn't offer.
Maybe you'll end up needing help from me. Ever think of that?
No, I don't like unpleasant thoughts.
Then let's forget the whole thing. Come on, baby.
Oh, what was that all about, Blackie?
Oh, nothing, Dr. Williams.
Say, look. Is that a police car pulling up in front of the house?
Not only a police car, it's Faraday's.
Oh, and he's getting out of it.
And I'm getting out of here.
Oh, you like it in the park, don't you, Carolyn? Oh, you saw that squirrel, didn't you? Well, maybe there's a pigeon over there by those bushes. Shall we go see?
The bird you're looking for is right here, honey.
Oh, Bob, you scared me.
How's everything?
Wonderful, darling. It's worked, hasn't it?
Oh, it sure has, honey.
You mean it almost worked, honey?
Blackie.
Yes, Bob? I've got a small gun and a great desire to use it if you two don't behave.
What do you want?
You and Mabel back in the house.
What for?
To see an inspector about an inspection. Get in there, both both of you.
Blackie. Blackie, I'm looking for you.
Well, stop it, will you? Or I'll get self-conscious. Go on, Bob. Mabel, into the room there.
All right. What are you doing with Atkins, Blackie? I don't have anything on him.
No, Farraday, but I do. And on his charming wife, too.
He's lying.
You want to hear my lies, Farraday?
No. All I want is you.
Why, Farraday, how you talk.
All right. So I want those stolen pearls, too. And you're going to deliver the pearls, huh?
Yes, I'm going to deliver the pearls, huh?
Well, let's see you do it.
Watch closely, Farraday. To recover the pearl necklace, I first have to steal a wooden necklace from baby Carol here.
Don't take away her necklace. She'll cry.
Faraday is going to cry much louder in a minute. I'll give this back to you, Carolyn.
Oh, this is crazy.
That's a good girl, Carolyn. Now, don't cry. Don't cry. Wonderful way I have with children, isn't it?
Give that string of blocks back to the baby.
In a second. Right after I pull the string of pearls out of it.
Well, that's it. That's the necklace. Well, how did it get in there?
Simple. Atkins used some of the doctor's tools to hollow out the inside of the wooden necklace. Then he strung the pearls inside it. His plan was to leave the house and then pick up the necklace when his wife took the baby for a walk in the park.
No.
Well, what do you know? Okay, I'm taking Atkins and his wife in for attempted robbery. Don't move, either of you. But, Blackie, I'm taking you in for murder.
You're being taken in by murder, Farraday. Don't you know who really killed Spaulding?
I think Atkins did.
No, that's impossible. I thought that once, but when I checked, I found out Atkins was across town having lunch when Spaulding was killed.
Thanks for that information, Farraday. Just proves how right I was about who did the killing. Mabel.
What?
You said you were bruised and cut this noon because your husband beat you.
That's right.
And you said you met him only a few blocks from here.
I didn't.
What are you trying to do, Mabel? Put me near the scene of a killing so I'll really get a rap? I didn't see you today until out in the park just now.
Thanks, Bob. Maybe they'll lighten your sentence by 100 years for that.
Hey, look, you haven't proved Mabel killed that guy.
He can't.
You've as much as admitted it to me, Mabel. You came up to my apartment this noon, probably to see me to find out how much I knew about you and Bob.
I had no reason to kill that insurance man.
You did when you got to the door of my apartment. You heard him say that he was sure there was more than one person involved in the stealing of this necklace, and that meant you. You probably made some noise while I was on the phone, and Spaulding ran out to investigate.
That's a lie. I was never near your apartment.
If you were never near my apartment, Mabel, how did you know I was in trouble with the law for pulling a gun on the inspector here when he caught me with Spaulding's body?
She knew that?
Yes, she knew that, Farraday. How did you know it, Mabel?
Why, I found out from...
You knew it because you were there hiding in the alcove near the back stairs. You just stabbed Spaulding and hadn't had a chance to leave the floor before I came out in the hall.
It's a lie. Maybe the doctor told me what you did.
I didn't tell her a word, Blackie.
Thanks, Dr. Williams. The word you didn't tell her is the word I wanted Farraday to hear. Well, Mr. and Mrs. Robert Atkins, a pearl necklace isn't the only thing that will be worn around a neck this season. In your case, it may be a rope.
All I want you to do is open a safe.
Mr. Smith, the trouble with you motion picture people is that you see too many movies.
I'm serious, Blackie.
Well, perhaps you'll tell us more about it, Mr. Smith.
Certainly, Miss Wesley. I don't really want Blackie to open the safe.
Well, now, just what do you want me to do?
Open the safe.
Oh, here we go again.
Look, let me explain. As I told you, I'm supervisor for Herald Productions. We're making a big picture here, and we have a safe-cracking scene in it. We just want to make sure we don't have our man open a safe that can't be opened, and we want to make sure that when he does open it, he opens it properly.
Well, that should be simple.
But it's not so simple when you don't know anything about safes or how to open them. We'd like you to give us a little technical advice.
I'm sorry, Mr. Smith, but giving advice is a little out of my line.
Let me suggest it might be a good thing for you to do.
Taking advice is a little out of Blackie's line, too.
I asked for that, didn't I, Mary?
Look, Blackie, we'll pay you for your services. Isn't this all a little silly? Of course not. We do this all the time. When we make a picture involving airplanes, we get a pilot for technical advisor. When we do a sea story, a seaman advises us.
Yes, I think I've noticed a credit line for the technical advisor at the beginning of pictures.
Mary, there's a credit line for everybody at the beginning of pictures.
Oh, you know what it is.
Look, Blackie, all you have to do is come down to the studio while we're making the safe-cracking scenes. How about it, Blackie?
Oh, Blackie, I've always wanted to see him make a movie, please, huh?
Oh, all right. Maybe a movie studio is the one place in the world I won't run into Inspector Farraday.
Cash? Beneficial Finance Company has the cash you want for any good reason.
Just say the word.
Call up. Tell us how much you want and when you want it.
You're the boss.
Yes, you're the boss.
At Beneficial.
Right now, you get ready cash at Beneficial. The instant way to clean up bills. Buy the things you need. Do the things you want. For service that's just a little friendlier and faster, come to Beneficial for ready cash.
Cash. Just say the word.
When you want cash, for any good reason, just tell us how much you want and when you want it.
You're the boss.
You're the boss.
At Beneficial.
Beneficial Finance Company.
And now back to Dick Kollmar as Boston Blackie. Enemy to those who make him an enemy. Friend to those who have no friend.
All right, let's have quiet now. Okay, Mr. Tony. Quiet! Quiet! All right, we're going to make this a take. Can we have some quiet, please? It's a close-up. The camera will dolly in this way, get a full shot of the trunk, then pan to the left, pull back to film the entire room for the rest of the scene. Have you got it? Right, Mr. Billings. Gladys, you know what you're supposed to do.
Yes, of course. Jack here says that Johnson is coming into the house. The camera picks me up as I see the trunk and get into it. I stay there until Johnson leaves.
All right. Jack, you all set?
All set, Mr. Billings.
All right, then, let's go.
Mr. Billings. Mr. Billings.
Oh, Smith, look, I can't talk now. We're set to shoot a scene.
Mr. Billings, I've brought Boston Blackie. He's right here.
Oh? Hello, Blackie. Going to help us out on those safe-cracking scenes. Look, stick here for a while, will you?
Well, sure. Go ahead with the scene. Don't mind me.
I'm here, too, you know.
Don't mind her either.
Oh,
Hey!
Miss Wesley, Mr. John Billings, our director.
How do you do,
How do you
Miss Billings?
do?
All set to roll, Miss Billings. All right, take it. Place, everybody.
Who was that, Mr. Smith?
That's Bill Barker, the assistant director.
Oh, and the people on the set?
The girl is Gladys Ronson, our leading lady. The man is Jack Winters, just a supporting role. The fellow Johnson you'll see in a minute plays the heavy. Lights!
Say, I think I'm going to like this.
Smith, get some chairs for Blackie and Miss Wesley.
Of course.
I have to have quiet now for a few minutes. This is a take. Scene 122, take one. Action! Camera! Roll 'em.
What are we going to do if he finds me here?
I'll be able to answer that better in about 10 seconds. He's coming up the walk now.
Does he have his gun?
When doesn't he?
There's no back way. How do I get out of here?
I'll have my gun on him the minute he comes in the door.
Oh, no. No, I don't want any shooting. The trunk. I'll hide in there.
Well, you'll have to do something, but hurry.
Tell him I've gone. Tell him I was never here. But don't look at this trunk.
Hurry. Close the top. Quick. Oh, hello, Buck.
Where is she?
Well, if you'll hurry, you can catch her. She left for town about 5 minutes ago, walking.
Yeah, that's good. I don't think she ought to go to town by herself, do you?
Not if she can go with you, Buck.
Yeah? See you later.
All right, honey, you can get out of the trunk now. Honey, get out of the trunk. Gladys! Cut!
Excuse me a minute, Blackie. Wesley.
Oh, yes,
Gladys,
of course.
what's the matter with you? Do you think we have film to waste? Get out of that trunk.
Places again, everybody. We'll have to retake
Come on, Gladys. What did you do? Fall asleep in there? Come on now, will you? Out.
Maybe she can't open it, Mr. Billings.
Barker, open up for you, will you?
Sure.
Gladys, what's the idea? Do you...
Mr. Billings, she's been shot. I know that. I also know she's dead.
All right, bring the trunk in here and set it down on the floor.
What are you going to do with it, Blackie?
Have a look at it, Mary. Before Inspector Farraday gets here. Thanks, fellas. I'll open it myself.
There must be a bullet hole in it somewhere.
I couldn't find one when I gave the trunk a once-over lightly out on the set.
Oh, Blackie, what an ugly jackknife. Where'd you get that?
A friend of mine sent it to me in hopes I'd cut my throat.
Oh, darling. Why are you scraping the lining of the trunk?
See if any kind of a gadget was in here that could have fired a gun. No. No, nothing at all. No bullet hole either.
Well, put that knife away, will you? Makes me nervous.
I'll put it over here on the table. I may need it later. Don't let me forget it, though.
No, I won't.
Uh-oh. Look who's coming.
Uh-huh. Inspector Farraday, and with Mr. Billings, too.
Farraday is probably asking Billings for a job in the movies as a cop, but he won't get it.
Why not?
Billings doesn't make comedies.
Don't worry, Mr. Billings. Give me in a half an hour, and I'll find out who killed Gladys Ronson.
First, you'll have to find out how she was killed, Inspector.
Blackie, what are you doing here?
Smiling, Farraday, but just for a few minutes. I'm going to be laughing at you.
You two know each other?
I'll say I know this guy, Mr. Billings. Like a book.
Sure, but Farraday can't read.
I'll ask you once more, Blackie. What are you doing here?
Blackie is technical advisor on a few scenes we're going to shoot, Inspector.
Well, take my advice, Mr. Billings, and get rid of him before you have more than murder around here. Now, is this the trunk Gladys was in when she was shot?
This is it, Farraday.
I didn't ask you, Blackie. Is this it, Mr. Billings?
Yes, it is. You'll be able to tell from the pictures your men took what position she was in at the time.
I wish I'd been able to get here before they removed the body. Say, where'd the bullet enter the trunk?
I've been eagerly waiting for you to ask that one, Farraday. The bullet didn't go through the trunk.
All right. So it was fired inside the trunk.
Try again, Farraday. In games like this, you always get 3 guesses. You have 1 to go.
I'm not playing games. And if I hear any more from you, you're going to be the one to go.
I'd like to leave right now, but I don't want to miss the look on your face when you realize no bullet went through this trunk and no gun was fired from inside it.
Oh, that's crazy. You must be out of your mind.
If you had one to be out of, so would you be after you look over this trunk. What size straitjacket do you wear?
I wear a 40. None of your wisecracks, Blackie. I'll find a bullet hole in that trunk.
So help me, Farraday, there isn't one. I've been all over it.
Well, I'll take that trunk to the police lab, and we'll give it a professional going over.
May I come along, Inspector?
No, absolutely not.
That's all right with me. Goodbye, Inspector.
Goodbye.
Aren't you leaving?
Sure, I'm leaving. Oh, don't just stand there. You're wasting my time. Come on, let's go. I don't get it. Just look at it, Blackie. We've got this trunk spread out all over the lab. We can't find a thing.
After the way your experts tore it apart, Farraday, I doubt now if you'll find all the pieces.
You were on the set, Blackie. Now, what happened?
Well, they were shooting a scene in which Gladys Ronson had to hide in this trunk.
She got in by herself?
Jack, the only other person in the scene, was 18 and 20 feet away from her. She got in the trunk herself, bent over, and pulled the top down.
Well?
Then Barker, the assistant director, opened the trunk. She was dead.
Oh, that's impossible.
I know. Only it happened.
How could it possibly happen? We found nothing inside the trunk that could have fired a bullet. And no bullet from the outside was fired into it.
Well, maybe if you find out who killed her, you'll also find out how she was killed. Or is that too difficult for you, too?
Oh, finding out who killed her is a cinch. Ha!
It was obviously someone on the set.
That's what makes it so simple. Look, I have a list of everyone who was there. Prop men, electricians, cameramen, actors, directors, sound men, script girls, everybody. You know how many people were on that set?
I have a rough idea, but I don't think you can count up that high.
Well, I can count to 56. And that's exactly how many people were on that set. Exactly how many people could have killed Gladys Ronson. 56.
How different, Inspector. Usually you don't have any suspects.
Oh, never mind the wisecracks. If you're such a smart guy, you tell me who killed her.
If you were a smart guy, Farraday, you'd know that when you don't know how a person was killed, or who killed that person, you look for a motive as your clue.
Oh, I suppose you know why she was killed.
No, I don't, Inspector. But if we can first find out why she was killed, that may lead us to who killed her. And then maybe the killer will tell us how it was done.
My poor, dear, darling husband should feel miserable today. Shouldn't he, Martin, dear?
Should I, Sally? Why?
You killed your beautiful sweetheart. And it was all a very sad mistake.
You're making one now, dear.
You meant to kill me, didn't you, darling?
You seem to know an awful lot.
I more than seem to. I do know. I know you killed her. And I know why.
For a mere stand-in, you're rather an accomplished actress.
Am I really?
Perform like this for Billings, and maybe he'll see where the late Miss Ronson's stand-in can do the late Miss Ronson's roles.
With Gladys dead, maybe you'll consider me for your next leading lady. Or
with Gladys dead, are you going to desert your millions of fans and retire from the screen?
Get out of here.
Now, is that the way to talk to a faithful wife?
What's that got to do with you?
There's a gun in my hand, darling.
What do you want?
Just to comfort you in your sorrow. With a few kind words.
Make them very few.
I could go to the police with what I know.
You can't prove a thing. Maybe you can tell them you think I killed her and why, but they'll never be able to figure out how.
I said I could go to the police, but I'm not going to, darling. Instead, you're going to pay. And pay plenty.
I'll kill you first.
You mean you'll kill me second, darling? But why bother to get me out of the way now? Gladys is dead.
Maybe she'll have company.
You won't kill me, darling. Because I've put everything I know in writing. And the police will find it very lively reading if I turn up dead.
All nationwide claim adjusters present or accounted for.
Good. Men, you all know our record for settling nationwide auto claims fast.
Yeah!
More than half are settled within 24 hours after notice of loss. 2/3 within 72 hours. That's a speed record pretty tough to beat. Hoskins, front and center.
Yes, sir.
Yesterday, you delivered a nationwide auto claim check 2 minutes late. Why?
It was such a nice day, I thought I'd walk.
That's not the fast nationwide way.
Yes, sir.
All right, man. At the signal, let's move out and top our record. You there, Hoskins. What are you lagging behind for?
Well,
what's the matter?
My track shoe cleats are stuck in the floor.
Nationwide auto insurance, your test by far. Nationwide auto insurance, always the best for you and your car.
And now back to Boston Blackie. Present during the shooting of a movie scene, Blackie and Mary Wesley witness a baffling murder. Gladys Ronson, movie star, is shot to death inside a trunk, though no gun was in the trunk and no bullet passed through it. Police lab investigation finds no clue, and as we return to our story, Blackie, Mary, Farraday, and Mr. Billings, the director, are in the prop room searching for the murder gun.
Well, Blackie, so far we've looked at about 400 guns, and 5 are the same caliber that killed Gladys Ronson.
Yeah, it's the 6th, Inspector, and that's all we'll find.
Why?
Because that's the last one in the place.
Well, can we tell if one of these guns fired the shot?
Yes, we can, Mary.
I'm sure none of these were used. The prop man wouldn't let a gun out without a signed requisition.
People don't sign a requisition for murder, Mr. Billings. Can't we find that prop man? I'd like to talk to him.
When we find him, I'll do the talking.
What are you doing with those guns, Farraday?
I'll take him to headquarters to have them tested.
Must you always take everything to headquarters? Let me have them. I'll tell you which one, if any, fired the shot.
What are you sniffing for, Blackie?
Possible clue.
Pop.
This gun hasn't been fired in months. Let's have another. This one has a silencer on it.
So do 3 of the others, wise guy.
No, not this gun either. Let's see one of the others with a silencer. The gun the killer must have had with a silencer, all right. The shot wasn't heard.
Here you are, Blackie.
Thanks, Mary. You smell the cordite. This is it.
Give me that gun.
Why?
I want to test it for fingerprints.
Don't be a dope all your life, Farraday. Any killer smart enough to commit this murder is certainly going to be smart enough to wipe off his fingerprints.
I'll take it anyhow.
All right. Here you are. When do we see the rushes on the murder scene, Mr. Billings?
Should be ready in a few minutes, Blackie. We'll be told. We'll all see it together.
I'd like to see it too, Mr. Billings.
Blackie, look, it's Martin Doyle, the movie star.
Trying to reach you all day.
I'm sorry I was out. I wasn't in any of today's scenes.
We're about to show the filming of the scene in which Gladys was killed, Martin. I know you'd be interested in seeing it.
I certainly will.
Oh, excuse me. Martin, this is Miss Mary Wesley, Boston Blackie, and Inspector Farraday.
How do you do?
How do you do? Well, let's go see those rushes, huh? Maybe when I look at the screen, I'll see a killer behind it.
show the film anytime you're ready to see it.
Well, turn out the lights, Billings, and let's go.
Right away, Inspector.
What's the matter, Farraday? Has the excitement of a free movie upset you?
Oh, quiet, Blackie.
You don't mind if I sit next to you, do you, Miss Wesley?
Why, not at all, Mr. Doyle. This is the first time I've been to a movie with you, when you weren't on the screen.
Everybody ready?
Just a minute. Is everybody here?
I think so.
Let's see. There's Blackie, Miss Wesley, Martin Doyle. Jack Winters, who was in the scene with Miss Bronson when she was killed. Barker here, the assistant director. And you, Billings. I guess we're all here.
Turn out the lights, will you, Barker?
Yes, sir.
All right, operator. Roll 'em.
What are we going to do if he finds me here?
I'll be able to answer that better in about 10 seconds. He's coming up the walk now.
Does he have his gun?
When doesn't he?
There's no back way. How do I get out of here?
I'll have my gun on him the minute he comes in the door.
Oh, no. No, I don't want any shooting. The trunk. I'll hide in there.
You'll have to do something, but hurry.
Tell him I've gone. Tell him I was never here. But don't look at this trunk.
Hurry. Close the top, quick. Oh, hello, Buck.
Where is he?
If you'll hurry, you can catch her. She left for town about 5 minutes. Walking.
I don't know.
Barker, turn on those lights.
What's the matter here?
Inspector Farraday. Look on the floor.
It's John Gaines, the prop man.
You mean it's John Gaines' body? Look, there's a knife in his back.
You know something, Farraday?
Sure, he's dead.
But do you know something else?
What?
That knife in his back is mine.
Here's the script of the movie we're making, Blackie. I don't understand why you want to look at it.
A lot of things I don't understand, Billings.
Well, you know why John Gaines was killed in the filming room and what he was doing there?
I do know that much. The murder gun was taken from the property room. Maybe Gaines saw it being taken or being brought back. In either case, he was marked for murder.
Let's see. Well, Blackie, he wasn't in the filming room when we started the picture.
No, he must have come in during the filming to see Farraday. Or if that wasn't the reason he came in, his killer thought that was the reason.
You know who his killer is?
Gladys Ronson's killer. But knowing that still isn't any help. The only thing I do know so far is that instead of having 56 suspects, as we had at first, now the suspects are narrowed down to the people in the filming room.
Well, that's Barker, Jack Winters, you, Miss Wesley, Martin Doyle, and myself.
And Farraday.
Where's Farraday now?
Questioning Barker, Winters, and Doyle.
Blackie, who do you think killed Gaines?
Tell me which one of those three killed Gladys and later picked up my knife, and I'll answer that. Where in this scenario will I find the scene in which Gladys was killed?
Let's see. Around page 82. But I don't know what good looking at the shooting script will do you.
I know the murder wasn't written into it, but you never know where your next clue is coming from. Oh. Yeah, here's what I'm looking for.
Find anything?
No, not yet. Say, here's something. The script is marked long shot, and you did the whole scene close up, didn't you?
That's right, we did.
Did that involve any major changes in your plans for shooting the scene?
No, nothing serious. The camera setups were different, of course, and instead of using Miss Ronson's stand-in, Sally Green, we had to use Miss Ronson herself.
Those are the only changes, huh?
Yeah, that's all we
Say,
had.
wait a minute. That gives me an idea. Something we don't have is a motive for Gladys Ronson's death. Maybe she was killed by accident.
But why?
I mean, someone who didn't know Miss Ronson was getting in that trunk fired at what he thought was Sally Green, her stand-in. They'd be dressed alike. Now, who didn't know that change had been made?
All of us knew, Blackie. Barker, Jack Winters, Johnson, Gladys, Sally. All of us.
Are you sure everybody knew?
Everybody on the set.
Everybody on the set. Thanks, Billings. That's all I want to know.
Come in.
Is this Sally Green's apartment?
Yes?
Are you Sally Green?
Yes, I am.
I'm Boston Blackie. May I sit down?
What for?
I talk better that way.
What do you want?
Maybe you'd better sit down too, Miss Green. I have a little surprise for you.
Look, I don't know you.
Do you know anything about guns, Miss Green?
A little.
See this gun?
Yes.
It has 5 bullets in it. The missing one killed Gladys Ronson. The remaining 5 were meant for you.
How do you know?
I just took it away from Martin Doyle, and the police have just taken him away.
What?
We suspected him of Gladys Ronson's murder, Miss Green. We were trailing him and grabbed him just as he was entering this building.
So he was going to do it. He must be out of his mind. It wouldn't have done him any good.
Why not?
Because everything I know about him is written down. If he'd killed me, the police would have known he'd killed Gladys Ronson. And why?
Yes. Why did he kill Gladys?
Because he thought he was shooting at me.
And why did he want to kill you?
That's all in the note I prepared for the police, just in case.
Well, maybe I don't look it, but I can read. Let's see that note.
I don't have it with me. I gave it to Martha Dale, a girl in the wardrobe room. You can get it from her.
Well, can you tell me now just, say roughly what's in the note?
Sure. Martin wanted me out of the way so he could marry Gladys Ronson.
Oh, then you're his wife.
Yes, I'm his wife. And I wouldn't let him go. The whole story is written down. It was to be used only in case he killed me. But he tried to kill me, and that's just the same thing. What are they going to do with him?
Well, first of all, Miss Green, they're going to arrest him.
Arrest him? I thought you said the police have him now.
No, Miss Green, I'm afraid that was a little white lie. But when the police see what you've written in your note, they'll have Mr. Doyle. And what I mean, they'll have him.
Let's have some quiet now.
Quiet! Quiet! Quiet!
All right, everyone. This is a take. Ready, Jack?
Ready, Mr. Billings.
Ready, Doyle?
All set.
All right, Barker. Let's make this good.
Right, Mr. Billings. Places, everybody. Places. This is the take.
Hello, Billings.
Oh, hello, Blackie. Well, will you hold it? We're just about ready to shoot a scene.
Scene 160, take 1. Lights. Action. Camera.
Roll 'em.
I've got to hand it to you, pal.
Don't hand it to me, Harry. Hand it to law and order, to the decency of human beings who will not allow men to destroy for selfishness and greed.
But it takes men like you to preserve the things we live by.
Harry, I shall always fight for law, for the right of a man or woman to live life in his own way, by his own choosing. It's too bad there's no punishment worse than death for one who takes the life of another.
Very corny speech, Doyle, but maybe we can give you what you want.
Hey, what's going on here?
What's the idea, Blackie? You ruined the whole scene.
Sorry, Billings, I just couldn't listen to this guy Doyle any longer.
Blackie, what are you trying to do? Get into pictures?
This is a picture you can get into, too, Farraday. And here's the birdie you can watch.
What birdie?
Doyle here. He's the one you want for the murder of Gladys Ronson and John Gaines.
He doesn't know what he's talking about.
But your wife knew what she was writing about.
My what?
I'll spell it for you, Doyle. W-I-F-E. And that spells the N for Y-O-U.
Well, Blackie, for once, you didn't have to explain anything to Inspector Farraday, did you?
No, Mary, even in the 3rd grade, they teach you to read. When Farraday saw that note Sally Green had written, he knew Martin Doyle was his man.
Yeah, but I wish you'd explain something to me, though.
I know what you mean. It was the one thing that I did have to explain to Farraday. How Gladys was killed without a gun being concealed inside the trunk or a bullet being fired through it.
Could you explain it?
The minute I saw the rushes on the murder scene, I knew how it was done, Mary.
Oh, darling, darling. All right. How?
I watched her get into the trunk. First, she sat down in it, then started to pull the top down over her. She closed it slowly at first, then suddenly let it drop. Dropped the rest of the way.
Oh, I see what happened. She was shot before the trunk was closed.
That's right. Doyle was some distance from the scene, armed with a pistol with a silencer.
As Gladys started to close the trunk, he saw his chance, fired while she was letting down the top of the trunk. She slumped as she was hit, and the top closed.
Proving Doyle was the killer wasn't so simple until I got the note written by his wife. Doyle was making a movie in Technicolor, but he was caught by what his wife put down in black and white. comfortable, Mary?
Mm-hmm. Very. Is it time yet?
Yeah, a minute or two. Swell apartment my friend Charlie Kingston has here.
Yeah, it was nice of him to let us borrow it so we could use the television set. Imagine seeing Inspector Farraday on a television screen.
One of the nicest ways of seeing Farraday, you know. So near and yet so far away.
Turn it on, Blackie, will you?
Okay. Let's see what this little knob does.
Well, screen's lighting up.
Edison and Blackie, wonderful team.
Ooh.
Hey, I see something on the screen.
Yeah, so do I, but it's a little blurred.
They must be televising Faraday's mind. I think it needs a little sharper tuning.
The set or the mind?
Both. Hey, that's better, isn't it?
Much. Oh, Blackie, there's Farraday.
Yeah, I see him. And 3 other men around the table. Well, inasmuch as they're broadcasting civic forum, that's as it should be.
Then the inspector seems a little nervous, doesn't he?
Because he's hitting the water pitcher?
No.
He probably read somewhere that all speakers drink a glass of water before they go on.
Well, the other members of the forum must have read the same thing.
No, it's hot in the television studio, Mary.
You know, Blackie, it's hard to realize that here we are sitting at home, watching and listening to something taking place miles away. Don't you think television's wonderful?
Oh, I don't know. It'll never replace the horse.
You know, I think it's about time you told me I was wonderful too, Blackie.
I don't think you'll ever replace the horse either. Hey, I think that's Inspector Farraday. Yeah, now it's his turn to speak. I'll turn the radio part on.
Oh, good. This is going to be fun.
Continue our roundtable discussion by presenting an outstanding civic leader, Cyrus Baxter.
Oh, it's not Faraday after all. Shall I turn it down?
Oh, let's hear what Baxter has to say. I think Faraday should follow him. He's sitting next to him.
Mr. Baxter seems to be a bit thirsty, too. Well, he's finally put down that water glass. Now maybe he'll...
Ladies and gentlemen, I've come here tonight for a specific purpose. To make accusation against one of...
Hey, what's happening to him? He's grabbing his throat.
He's choking, Mary.
Look, he's falling back right into Faraday's arms.
Which means that somebody laid a murder right in Faraday's lap.
It's summer money time. Yes, it's summer money time. Come to Beneficial now. It's summer money time.
Right now, it's summer money time at Beneficial Finance Company. Get the cash you want for a wonderful vacation, to clean up leftover bills, or for any good reason. You'll find the service just a little faster, just a little friendlier. And you get this beneficial extra, your own international credit card. Good for cash wherever you go.
Cash, just say the word, you're the boss. At Beneficial, where it's summer money time.
And now back to Boston Blackie. Enemy to those who make him an enemy. Friend to those who have no friend.
There's Faraday over there with the police photographers, Mary.
He looks awful worried, Blackie.
He looks confused, but then he always does.
Well, darling. Faraday really isn't his spot this time. If Baxter was murdered with Faraday right in the room, the police commissioner will do some plain and fancy screaming, and you know it.
Yeah, no question about that. Oh, hold it, honey. We've been detected. Here comes the inspector. Hi, Faraday.
Blackie, before I do anything else, I've got one thing to say to you. Get out of here.
Hello, Inspector Farraday.
Hello, Miss Wesley. I make that 2 things, Blackie. Get out and stay out. Oh, have I got troubles.
I know. I saw you by television. You photographed badly.
I'm not talking about that, and you know it. Cyrus Baxter was standing right next to me when he was murdered.
Then he was murdered, huh? Why did you do it, Faraday?
What do you mean, why did I do it? I didn't kill him, Blackie. Now beat it.
Sure, Inspector. Did you find out yet what poison was used?
Poison? Who said it was poison? How could it be poison? I drank from the same pitcher of water. So did everybody at the table. We weren't poisoned, were we?
Oh, I don't know. How do you feel, Inspector?
I feel great. I feel like throwing you right out of here.
Oh, Blackie, why don't you stop, darling? Inspector Faraday has enough.
Oh, I'm sorry. Say, Inspector, Baxter was just about to accuse somebody of something when the poison hit him.
Who said it was poison? I told you it couldn't be poison.
Excuse me, Inspector Farraday. The medical examiner just finished with the body. He
Huh?
said to tell you Baxter was poisoned by the water. They won't be able to identify the poison until after the autopsy.
Okay. Oh, Blackie, beat it. I'll take it from here alone.
I'll go, but you won't be alone, Inspector. There's a person heading this way right now with purpose in his footsteps and you in his mind.
Do you know him, Inspector?
That's Rex Daniels. He was secretary to Mr. Baxter.
Inspector Farraday, I've got to talk to you for a moment.
Not now.
I think you'd better listen to him, Farraday, and now.
Nobody tells me what I better do. What do you want, Daniels?
Inspector, I know what Mr. Baxter was going to say when he fell dead. I helped him prepare the indictment.
What kind of an indictment was that, Daniels?
Who are you?
Oh, he's Boston Blackie. Who is Baxter going to indict?
A man named Thomas, Ralph Thomas. Mr. Baxter was going to expose him to the forum members.
Yeah?
We knew he was farming out city contracts, costing the taxpayers additional money.
Thomas, huh? Hey, we all had dinner at his house tonight.
Who's all, Inspector?
Well, me, Baxter, Ralph Thomas, and then there was...
And I, Inspector Farraday.
Yeah, and you too, Waters.
Waters, huh? What do you do?
Shut up, Blackie. Mr. Waters has political connections. Very good ones, too.
Oh, I remember you, Mr. Waters. I saw you on our television set.
Yes, I was scheduled to speak before the unfortunate accident.
It wasn't an accident. It was murder. Somebody wanted to keep Baxter quiet. Faraday, you say you had dinner at Ralph Thomas's house?
Yeah, 4 of us. Baxter, Mr. Waters, Thomas, and I. Hey, Thomas could have poisoned Baxter then.
And have the poison take effect at exactly the right moment, Faraday? I don't think that happens except in books.
So you don't think it happens? Well, who cares what you think? I'm going to go to work on Thomas right now. You sure Baxter was going to accuse Thomas, Daniels?
Of course I'm sure.
Well, you're giving us some action, Inspector. That's all I wanted to be sure of. Come on, Daniels.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Inspector Farraday. Thank you very much. I was very fond of my employer.
Yeah, I know. Now, wait a minute. Do you figure to step into his job, Daniels?
Well, I hadn't thought about it much, but I guess I am the only one who could handle it right away.
That's all I wanted to know. You can go now, but I'll be seeing you. And you too, Waters.
Goodbye, Inspector.
We'll be seeing you, Faraday.
Hey, does anybody remember I'm still here?
See that you stay here, and keep Blackie with you. I'm going to see this Ralph Thomas.
That's right, Inspector. Between the two of us, we'll make him talk.
Yeah, he's going to talk between the one of us, and that means me. And it also means you're going to keep away from his house. Far away. You get that? So long, Blackie.
Goodbye, Inspector.
Oh, Miss Wesley, I'm sorry. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Come on, Mary.
Would it be impolite to ask where to?
A phone booth. I'm going to call this Ralph Thomas and arrange to meet him before Farraday gets to him.
Oh.
And the subject we'll discuss when we meet will be another man's poison. Hello, is Mr. Thomas at home?
I'm sorry, sir, he is not.
This is Inspector Allen of the police. Did you serve the dinner at Mr. Thomas's house tonight?
Why, yes, Inspector. Of course I did.
I just wanted to be sure it was you. Tell me one thing. Who cooked the dinner?
I did, sir. It's one of my duties. Was anything wrong?
I don't know yet. Tell me this. Did everyone at the table eat the same food?
Oh, yes, sir. And every bit of it, too. If you'll pardon me and there's nothing else, this is my night off, and I was just about to leave the house.
One thing more. Do you know where Mr. Thomas is?
This is his bowling night, sir. The Academy Alleys. You might find him there.
Thank you very much. Goodbye. I'm in luck, Mary.
Oh, yes, Blackie, what?
Yes, Mary, Mr. Thomas has gone bowling, and the chance to see him alone is right down my alley.
How'd it go tonight, Mr. Thomas?
Well, Joe. Had a 165 average for 7 games.
Not bad, not bad.
Good night, Joe.
Good night, Mr. Thomas. See you same time next week.
Right, Joe. Good night.
Thomas, I'd like to see you at the same time this week.
Who are you?
Boston Blackie. The name mean anything to you?
Vaguely. You were looking for me?
That's pretty apparent, isn't it? Mr. Thomas, did you know that Cyrus Baxter was murdered tonight?
No, I didn't. How did it happen?
You don't seem very upset.
Well, there isn't much difference between life and death. It's the presence of one because of the absence of the other. Did you follow me?
That's a little beyond my depth, Thomas, but murder isn't. By the way, Baxter did have dinner at your house.
Yes, that's right, he did. So Inspector Farraday of the police and Richard Waters, were they poisoned, too?
I never said that Baxter was poisoned.
No, you didn't, but you mentioned he was murdered and brought up the fact that he had dinner at my house. Pretty obvious conclusion, don't you think?
Either an obvious conclusion or definite knowledge. Look, Thomas, you're in a spot. Baxter was preparing to expose you publicly at that forum. Did you know that?
No. Well, it's possible. My business is a little out of the ordinary.
Just what is your business?
Just what business is it of yours?
Actually, none. But the police are after you, and if you're innocent, it's just possible I might be able to help.
You don't think I poisoned Baxter?
No, I think you're too smart to do that. But come to think of it, this had to be a pretty smart stunt.
What are you talking about?
4 men had dinner together, and there 3 of those men drank from the same water pitcher. The water was poisoned, but only 1 man died. That's a pretty good trick.
Tell me how it was done.
Maybe you'll tell me. First of all, did all 4 of you eat the same food at dinner?
Identical. Cream soup, roast beef, boiled potatoes, lima beans, dessert and coffee. Baxter had no coffee. Is that important?
You know it's not. Who prepared the dinner, Thomas?
Jones, my butler. He's a very good cook.
I talked to him earlier. I understand he has the night off. Will he be home later?
I think so. He has an apartment over the garage. Generally in by midnight on his night off.
I think I'll go to see him. Maybe your butler will open the door to a solution of this case.
Blackie, darling, this is my idea of completely nuts.
How can you say that, Mary?
Oh, that's easy. I'll show you. Blackie, darling, this is my idea of completely nothing. See?
We're on the trail of a killer, gal, en route to what may turn out to be a killer's quarters in yon garage.
So suppose we find the butler. Then what?
Then we... Shh.
What?
Somebody's following us. Get into these bushes, quick.
Well, all right, but I don't hear any... Hey, I do hear footsteps
Keep
now.
out of this, Mary. I'll handle him, whoever he is. Wait here.
Blackie!
I mean, wait here quietly. Shh. I'm going to grab him. And, baby, when I grab somebody, they stay grabbed.
Hi. You're new around here, huh?
Uh-huh.
Say, you know about this nationwide auto insurance we're singing about?
I sure do. The best and not expensive.
Oh, yeah?
Nationwide auto insurance gives you all the coverage you need.
But, huh?
Oh, Nationwide doesn't cut corners. It's quality auto insurance at real low cost.
No kidding.
So good, over $2.25 million by Nationwide.
Hey, you know a lot about it.
Oh, I should. I'm a vice president with the company.
And you're doing the jingle?
Well, I just can't be singing along.
Nationwide auto insurance, your best buy. By far, nationwide, always the best for you and your car.
And now back to Boston Blackie. While Blackie and Mary Wesley were watching by television, Cyrus Baxter fell dead in the television studio, just as he was about to indict Ralph Thomas, political lobbyist. Thomas's secretary, Rex Daniels, and Richard Waters, a civic board member, are under suspicion, as well as Thomas. When investigation shows that Baxter was poisoned and that he had had dinner with the others at Thomas's house, a search is made for the butler who cooked and served the dinner. En route to his quarters in the Thomas garage, Blackie and Mary realize they are being followed, and Blackie jumps on the man.
Friend, that ought to hold you for a while. How do you like your face getting an apple massage?
Did you get him, Blackie?
You got him. And exercise. Hand me the flashlight, Mary, so I can see what I nabbed and what kind of a head I'll have hanging in my trophy room.
Blackie!
Oh!
Blackie, you dope. Let me up.
Oh, it's Inspector Farraday. Oh, Blackie.
Oh, golly, I'm sorry, Inspector. I didn't know it was you. Here, let me help you up.
What's the idea of hopping on me?
Well, I didn't know it was you. What was the idea of trailing me?
I didn't know it was you either. I saw two figures.
One of them was mine. The good one.
Mary.
Well...
Oh, cut it out, both of you. Where are you going, Blackie?
Oh, nowhere. Just out for a stroll.
Yeah, I know. Me too. Only I took my stroll first. I got to this garage 20 minutes ago. Nobody answered the door in Thomas's house, so I thought I'd try here.
Was anybody in the garage, Inspector?
Nobody to speak of. Just a corpse.
That's nobody to speak to. Was it the butler?
Yeah, knifed.
Oh.
And I'd give a lot to know why.
I could tell you.
I don't want to know that badly. Now, come on, let's get into Thomas's house and wait for him to come home.
All good police inspectors have skeleton keys, right, Inspector?
Now, I got something better. You. Now, look, can you open that back door, Blackie?
No, I don't know. I haven't seen it yet. But past performances were in my favor.
I know. Well, there it is. Let's go to work.
Okay. This is awfully illegal, Inspector.
Yeah, murder is a little bit against the law, too. How you coming?
Pretty well. There. There's the door unlocked.
Well, open it.
Right.
Gas, Blackie. I smell gas.
Keep out of the way, Mary. Come on, Inspector. Put your handkerchief over your nose and come on.
Okay, I'm with you.
Break that window, Inspector, first. Break it.
Okay. Put your flashlight on it so I can see what I'm doing. Right. Right over here. Okay.
Hey, look, Inspector. That body on the floor. It's Thomas.
Well, that makes the third one. First Baxter, then his butler, now Thomas here. He killed the first two and then committed suicide. Well, that washes this case, huh?
Inspector, come here, quick.
Now, what is it, genius?
Nothing that you'd be interested in, except Thomas isn't dead. He broke in here just in time.
Not dead, but he's got to be dead. This room was loaded with gas from that kitchen range.
Not too loaded. Whoever did this might have wanted it to look like suicide, but didn't stuff the cracks under the doors, and we broke in time to save Thomas. Look at this bump on the back of Thomas's head.
He got it when the gas hit him and he fell off that chair.
He could have gotten it when somebody hit him, turned on the gas, and left him here.
That's what you think. As soon as Thomas revives, I'm taking him to headquarters and booking him for murder.
Go ahead, but get an apology ready, kid. You're going to need it when it turns out that Thomas is innocent. Just keep driving anywhere, Mary. It doesn't matter where we go as long as I have time to think.
You got time to think out loud?
I suppose so. Mary, would Thomas be clever enough to fake an attack on himself, hoping to throw us off the track?
Well, what would he hope to gain, Blackie?
He could hope to throw suspicion on somebody else. Ralph Waters or Rex Daniels, Baxter's secretary.
I mean, he figured you'd break in time to save him.
Maybe. What bothers me, too, is that poisoning of Baxter. Farraday tells me there was poison found in the water that everybody at the forum drank. Yet it affected only Baxter. Now, how can that be?
I don't know. Would finding a motive help you, Blackie?
No, not in this case, Mary. Everybody had a motive.
Don't they always in mystery stories?
Invariably. Only mystery stories generally wind up with a solution. I'd like to know what this one is.
You'll find it, darling. I know you will.
That line came out of the same mystery story.
Hey.
Well, let's go to work. Suppose you drive me to Ralph Waters' house, and as the dog said when he went flea hunting, we start from scratch.
I don't think there's anything further I care to say to you, Daniels. And certainly nothing further I care to hear from you. Good day.
Not so fast, Mr. Waters. I happen to be very fond of Mr. Baxter.
I admit that very much. Good day.
Mr. Waters, you had opportunity to poison that drinking water at the television studio, and reason enough to want Mr. Baxter dead.
So did you, for that matter.
I had reason?
Baxter's job. You've got it now. Maybe you'd better leave before I start putting pieces together.
You're trying to insinuate I killed Mr. Baxter, the man who gave me the only chance I ever had? I could kill you for saying that. Stop it! Stop it! Stop it!
You better stop it, Daniels. Take your hands off him.
What do you want here, Blackie?
Mr. Waters alive, for one thing.
Have him arrested, Blackie. He almost killed me just now.
Yes, I know. I saw that. And it gave me an idea. All I've got to do is to put that idea of mine into execution, and both of you better hope it isn't your execution I'm talking about.
Lights hurt your eyes, Thomas? Too bad. Go on, talk.
Inspector Farraday, there isn't anything I can tell you except what I've already told you. I know nothing of how Mr. Baxter or my butler were killed or who tried to kill me and make it look like suicide.
Thomas, I'm gonna... Yeah, Farraday speaking. Well, what is it, Frankie? You want me to do what? Are you kidding? Of course I won't. Sure, I want to solve this case. And that's the way to do it, huh? Okay, what can I lose except a couple of hours? Hey, right away. 8 o'clock tonight is okay. Goodbye. Thomas, you're going to have a dinner party at your house again tonight. And then we're going to the television studio. Just like we did last night.
What's the reason for all this, Inspector?
It's Blackie's idea. He says he's going to make a murderer show his hand so we can get a look at his face.
Gentlemen, as you know, Inspector Farraday, Mr. Waters, Mr. Thomas, and I have just come here to the television studio from a dinner where we ate exactly what was served at the dinner last night.
This farce is a little late in getting started, isn't it?
That's what I
Maybe, Mr. Waters, but the ending is worth it.
Come on, Blackie, come on, do something.
I will, Farraday. I'll start with a roll call. First, Inspector Farraday of the police.
What do I do now? Bow?
Not until this case is solved, old fella. Rex Daniels, secretary to the late Cyrus Baxter.
Here.
Richard Waters, member of the City Finance Council.
Here, Blackie.
And Ralph Thomas, political hanger-on, holding no office but packing a lot of weight.
Thank you, sir.
It's very hot in the studio under these lights, gentlemen. Here, in this pitcher of ice water, you'll all be able to have a drink. But I'm going to improve the taste a little. The small bottle I asked you for, Inspector, please.
Yeah.
Thank you. There's poison in this water, gentlemen. The same poison that killed Baxter. I'm going to pour it into the water pitcher. And now I'm going to drink a glass of the water.
Let's see, building.
There. Now, here's a glass of water for you, Waters, for you, Thomas, and for you, Daniels, and for you, Farraday.
Okay.
Now, I want all of you to drink the water together. Come on now. 1, 2.
No, I can't do it. I can't. I tell you, I can't.
Drink it, Daniels, at the count of 3. 1, 2.
I won't do it. It's murder. It'll kill all of us.
I drank it, Mr. Waters, remember?
Sure, you drank it. But you took an antidote at dinner. You had it in your coffee, and you wouldn't serve coffee to any of us. He's trying to murder us all. Don't let him. I'm going to get out of here. I won't drink that water.
Grab him, Farraday. He's your murderer. Richard Waters.
I'm listening, Blackie.
I'm gloating, lovely one. Where shall I begin?
With the reason that Waters killed Baxter.
Well, that was because Baxter was going to indict Ralph Thomas. Thomas had to have a partner in a city job. That partner was Waters. If Baxter named Thomas, Thomas would pass the buck to Waters. Catch on?
Catch on. Ooh. I know why the butler was killed, too. Waters had bribed him to put the antidote in the coffee he served at the dinner, and later killed him to keep him from talking.
Nice going. Waters knew Baxter drank only milk, and so he had the antidote placed in the coffee by the butler. He believed I had done the same thing before I drank the water, and that gave him away.
And then Waters later tried to kill Thomas and make it look like suicide so that Thomas would be suspected. How am I doing, Blackie?
You're wonderful, Mary.
But I still don't replace the horse, huh? Well, I think you were wonderful taking a chance on drinking that water you had poisoned.
No, don't be silly. I knew I hadn't any poison in that water.
What?
It was just more water I added, that's all. Tricky, huh?
Yes, darling, you're tricky, huh? And, I'm thirsty, huh? So, I'll pour myself a little water.
I do all the talking and you get thirsty. That's what I call close friendship.
Well, I'll answer that when I'm through drinking. There. Now, what was it you... Oh, Blackie. Blackie!
What is it, Mary? What?
My throat. Oh, Blackie, I'm falling.
It's all right, dear. Holding you. What is it? What's the matter?
Well, with you holding me, nothing's the matter. I'm a little tricky, too, darling. Oh, Blackie, if this is a dinner party, where is the dinner?
I don't know, Mary. But here comes Roger Masters.
Who's he?
Our host.
Hello there, Blackie.
Hello, Roger. It's about time you came over and talked to us.
Blackie, it's good to see you. I was hoping you could come.
All you had to do was urge me with one invitation. Oh, Mary, this is Roger Masters, our host. Roger, Miss Mary Wesley.
Well, this is a real pleasure, Miss Wesley. I've heard about you.
Oh, since I've known Blackie, I'm afraid a lot of people have heard about me.
Oh, Blackie has a way of getting around.
Yes, everything, including me.
Now, Mary, you know
At
Don...
the sound of the next loud noise, one subject will be dropped.
Say, Roger, is that your brother Harvey at the piano?
Oh, yes. Under that delightful coat of tan is my very undelightful brother. He's just back from Georgia. With Georgia.
I beg your pardon. Will you say that again, please?
He's back from the state of Georgia with a bride-to-be by the name of Georgia.
Oh.
She's the redhead to the left of the piano.
What number bride-to-be is she?
When I run out of fingers, I can't count. But you'd think it was true love by the talk they give each other.
Must be great listening. Yankee drool and southern drawl.
Oh.
Say, I haven't seen our hostess.
Well, there should be down by now. I can't understand what's delaying her. Perhaps the diamond. She always fusses when she wears it.
Is the family diamond really as big as they say it is, Mr. Masters?
Miss Wesley, the Masters diamond is the biggest thing in our family. And wearing it is about the biggest thing we do. We're a rather useless lot, you know.
I don't know that at all.
Stick around 40 years and you'll find out.
Say, Roger, what kind of a party is this? Look who's coming.
Oh, I don't know that man.
Well, I do. It's Inspector Farraday.
All right, everybody. Quiet here.
Huh?
Stop that piano.
What's the matter, Inspector? Don't you like music?
Blackie, what are you doing here?
Enjoying myself till now. What brings you here, Inspector?
What brings me here? Just that the Masters diamond is missing.
What?
And Mrs. Masters is upstairs murdered.
What?
No.
And I'm going to stay here till I find out what this is all about.
Hey, Lemmy, when's the stonecracker coming?
Joe'll be here pretty soon, Pete.
Ain't it a shame, ain't it?
And what a shame.
We gotta bust up this rock and cut somebody in besides.
We either cut Joe in to bust this rock, or we bust rocks for a bunch of years.
But ain't it a shame, ain't it?
What you using for a brain, Pete? This your Masters diamond is as easy to spot as a gorilla in a birdcage. It's gotta be busted up.
Is it really on a level that he can slice it in one whack, huh?
I've seen Joe work. First he looks at the rock, all which ways. Second, he throws light on it, like he was looking for something on its insides. Third, he draws all kinds of lines on it, this way and that way. Then he puts it on a table in a little cup.
Yeah?
Then he's got a hammer in one hand and a chisel-looking thing in his other hand. And he puts the chisel on top of the rock, and he goes tap with the hammer, and right there in front of you, that one big, beautiful diamond, is a lot of little rocks.
Ain't it a shame, ain't it?
It ain't a shame when you gotta eat. There's money in your pocket because you sold those little rocks.
Yeah. And nobody can trace nothing to us because old lady Masters never saw us.
Yeah, Pete. We did this one right. We grab what we're after, and nobody sees us to tell the cops what happened.
Hey, Lemmy.
Huh?
What's that extra?
I don't know. Open the window, huh?
Yeah, sure.
shouting at me. Close the window quick.
Yeah, sure.
Hey, this is bad.
Dame's croaked, huh?
Hey, you gotta do something.
Yeah, but what, Lemmy? But why?
I don't know. I gotta think.
They'll get us for murder, Lemmy.
Unless I get an idea first. I gotta.
What do we search next, Rollins? And let's make it snappy. I want to get out there in the living room and question that whole bunch together.
Blackie's next on the list, Inspector Farraday.
Blackie, huh? Good. Get him in here.
Okay, Blackie, you're next.
How are you this evening, Rollins?
Okay, Blackie.
I don't have to ask you how you are, Farraday. I know, as confused as ever.
Don't bother to make wisecracks, Blackie. And don't bother to sit down.
Around you, everything's a bother.
Quiet, Blackie.
I'll start with your coat, Blackie.
You're not starting with anything, Rollins. We're not searching this guy.
Oh?
But, Farraday, are you sick? Here, Rollins, start with my coat.
The only starting we're going to do is you. Out of here.
What? I don't get this, Farraday. You catch me at the scene of the crime. I admit to you that I was upstairs about the time of the murder, and all you want to do is get rid of me. Now, is that being smart?
There's a law against all I want to do, where you're concerned.
Concerned? Say, I'm glad you mentioned that, because I'm plenty concerned. Here I am in a house with a body, and you find it first. Say, how did you do it, Farraday?
Well, the upstairs maid phoned me, and I told her not to say anything to anybody. While you were still downstairs... Hey, it's none of your business how I found the body. Now get out of here.
Are you sure you don't want me to give Rollins my coat?
I said get out of here.
Oh, please now, Farraday. Be yourself for a change. I admit I was upstairs for a few minutes before the maid found the body.
I know that.
I admit I'd like to own the master's diamond.
I know that.
Well, then why don't you think I'm a first-class suspect?
Because you're much too smart about this whole thing. You don't deny anything. You don't offer any alibi. You don't even try to get away from me. So you don't figure in this case at all.
I don't figure, and you can't. All right, Farraday, have it your own way.
I intend to. Now get out of here.
Say please.
Please. Get out of here.
So long, Farraday.
For my money, you can make it longer than so.
Very good, Inspector. Very good.
Gosh, Inspector, you shouldn't have let him go.
Rollins, you think I'm a sap? He wouldn't have that diamond on him. He'd laugh at me for weeks because we didn't find it.
Don't you think he had anything to do with this?
Put 2 men on detail to follow Blackie wherever he goes. I not only think he had something to do with this, I think maybe he did it.
Oh, for once, Mary, I really enjoy just sitting here in my apartment and not even thinking about murder.
But, Blackie, what I'd like to know is why did Inspector Farraday let you go?
Maybe he's getting smart.
You mean it's a trick?
Either a trick or he knows that this time he has nothing on me.
Oh, darling, what does he ever have on you, really?
That's a good question. Come in.
Oh, Mr. Boston Blackie?
Yes?
Oh, Blackie, she's so beautiful. I wish you'd said no.
I'm just so sorry to put you to all this bother, Blackie. But I've just been so anxious to meet you. And I'm just so distressed. And I just know you can be so much help to me.
So?
Oh, you're Georgia Aiken, aren't you? Harvey Masters' fiancée. I saw you at the Master's party. Miss Aiken, this is Miss Wesley.
Hello.
How do you do?
That's a wonderful suntan you have, Miss Aiken.
I'm from the South. Maybe y'all can't tell it, but I am. That's where I met Harvey. We've just come back from Georgia, where we had so much fun.
Won't you sit down?
Oh, you're so kind, but no. I just dropped in because I wanted to meet the wonderful Boston Blackie. I've heard so much about you, and, well, I thought...
You thought? Oh, I'm sorry. I guess maybe I'm in the way here.
Oh, dear me, no. What I want to talk about is the thing that's happened to Mrs. Masters. And I'm afraid it's going to mean trouble for poor, dear Harvey.
For Harvey? Why?
Well, the police will find out he inherits all his mother's money.
But what about his brother Roger?
All of it goes to Harvey. He said so, and he ought to know. That's one reason he made up with his mother.
Well, I don't think there's anything to worry about. The police believe that Mrs. Masters was killed by whoever stole the diamond.
I don't think they'll ever suspect Harvey.
But they'll find out so much more about Harvey when they begin to investigate. He and his mother hated each other. He's going to be in so much trouble when these things get out. And you're so wonderful, Blackie. I wish you'd help.
You say Harvey hated his mother?
Yes. He'd been away for 6 years because of her. And they didn't speak for years before that.
But she was giving last night's party for him, wasn't she?
Yes, this was supposed to be a kind of a reunion. But it wasn't doing so well. even before poor dear Mrs. Masters was killed.
Excuse me. Come in.
Is Georgia Aiken? Oh, there you are, Georgia.
Well, Harvey, darling, what are you doing here?
Looking for you, dear. There's been a call from police headquarters, and we have to go down there for a few minutes. I wanted us to go together. Mother's maid said you were coming down here.
Oh, Harvey, darling, this is that so wonderful Boston Blackie. And this is Miss Wesley.
That not so wonderful Wesley. Hello.
How do you do? What brought you up here, Georgia?
Well, you're going to need help, Harvey. You know it.
Yes, I know, dear.
Miss Aiken says you're the sole heir to your mother's fortune and that you and your mother were more or less enemies. She thinks that that's cause for you to worry.
Oh, I don't think it is, do you?
No, frankly, I don't. But the police will probably investigate you.
Well, that's quite all right with me. I expect it. Well, if you'll excuse us, Blackie and Miss Wesley, we have to get to headquarters.
Of course.
Goodbye, Blackie. You've been so wonderful.
Goodbye.
Goodbye, Miss Wesley.
Goodbye, Miss Aiken. It's been so nice to meet you.
Goodbye.
Bye.
So long.
Harvey, darling, are we really going to police headquarters?
Listen, you.
Harvey, darling, you're hurting my arm.
What's the idea? Who told you to go to Blackie about me?
I only want to help. Harvey, you're hurting
Now,
me.
listen, you. Open your mouth about me just once more to anybody, and I'll shut it permanently.
And now, back to Boston Blackie. Two jewel thieves, Lemmy and Pete, steal the fabulous Masters diamond. When Mrs. Masters is later discovered dead, police believe she was killed by the robbers, despite the fact that she had had a long-standing quarrel with her son, Harvey, recently returned from the South with his fiancée, Georgia Aiken. As we return to our story, Lemmy and Pete, who stole the Masters diamond, are in their hideout.
Oh, Lemmy, ain't you got an idea yet?
Shut up, will you, Pete? How can I think when you talk to me all the time?
But, Lemmy, when they find us with a diamond, they'll get us for killing that Masters dame.
Wait a minute. I got it.
Yeah? What are we going to do, huh?
Get rid of the diamond.
What? After going to all that trouble to grab it? Oh, Lemmy, no.
The only way to duck getting wrapped for murder.
Gee, Lemmy, and that diamond was going to net us a pile of dough. Wait a shame, ain't it?
I know exactly how we can get rid of it, too.
I guess that's good. But it's such a beautiful hunk of ice. Ain't it a shame, ain't it?
Be careful what you say on the phone, Mary. Farraday or Rawlins are either listening or waiting downstairs to nail me when I go out.
Blackie, you really think so?
I'm sure of it. I'm also sure I'm going to stay right here in my apartment until Faraday solves this case.
Well, I'm going to be home for the rest of the evening, darling. Call me if anything happens.
Sure, Mary. With Farraday alone on a case, a lot is probably going to happen, and I hope it does to him. What's the matter, Faraday? Can't you think of anything to say? Well, I guess the inspector is downstairs, after all. Oh, there's the door, Mary. I'll call you later.
All right. Night.
Night. Come in. I thought you were in the building, Farraday. That telephone line was as open... Well, who are you?
Name's Lemmy. You Boston Blackie, huh?
I'm Boston Blackie, huh?
You got the right joint, all right, Pete. Come on in.
I offer most of the invitations around here. Habit, I guess.
Close the door, Pete. Just stand there quiet like.
Yeah, sure, Lemmy.
We got a little favor to ask you, Blackie.
How little?
Oh, it ain't gonna be no trouble to you. Just a little delivery job, that's all.
Delivering what? To whom? And just how many years in jail will it involve? How about making sense?
Okay. The Master's diamond. Does that make sense?
Properly handled, that can make dollars.
But it can't be handled. It's too hot.
You have the Master's diamond?
Yeah. My pal has a gun in his hand. In a couple of minutes, we ain't gonna have the diamond no more. You're gonna have it.
I'd rather have the mumps.
Come on, take it. Here.
This is a fine thing. I get held up and forced to take something. Now that I have the diamond, what?
Get going.
Where?
Out the door, down the elevator, out onto the street. We'll be right behind you.
When I get out on the street, what do I do?
Take the diamond to headquarters and turn it in.
Oh, fine. All Faraday has to do is to catch me with that diamond.
Get going. We lifted that rock, Blackie, but we didn't bump that dame. So you're taking it to headquarters to take the heat off us.
Rollins. The chances are Blackie's got the diamond and will try to sneak it out of his apartment. That's why we're waiting here for him. Now, if he's on this elevator, Rollins, you grab him.
Right, Inspector.
Here's the elevator. Now, get ready. All right, Blackie, stand right where you are.
Come on, Pete, let's get going.
Faraday, well...
Hold on to him, Rollins.
Hold on to him, Rollins, for what?
The master's diamond.
Faraday, quick, grab those two guys going out the front door.
I'm not and anyone but you.
Don't be a sap, Faraday. Grab them, quick.
I don't want them. All I want is you. With the master's diamond in your pocket.
It's not in his pocket, Inspector. Of course, I just took it out.
So, you stole the diamond and killed Mrs. Masters, huh, Blackie?
Faraday, you're under delusions.
Maybe. But I bet you'd like to change with me. You're under arrest.
Look, Faraday, before you get me all the way down to headquarters and have to let me go, be a smart guy and listen to me, will you?
You don't have anything to say, Blackie. I caught you with the master's diamond, and that's that. Well, go ahead and tell me. I need a good laugh.
Well, laugh at this, then. Those two guys who stepped out of the elevator with me and beat it out the front door when you and Rollins held me up gave me the diamond.
You expect me to believe that?
I don't expect anything of you, Faraday. But if you'll send out an alarm for a couple of guys by the name of Lemmy and Pete, you can get a confession out of them. I'll give you the description.
I suppose you think these two guys killed Mrs. Masters, too.
No, as a matter of fact, I'm sure they didn't. That's why they brought the diamond to me. I was supposed to deliver it to you.
Okay. When we get to headquarters, I'll send out a general alarm. Pick these guys up.
Well, why take me to headquarters, then, if you believe I didn't steal the diamond?
Because I want you to see me work. I've got an angle on the murder that doesn't include you.
I feel sort of slighted, as a matter of fact. Who are you after?
Roger Masters, one of the victim's sons.
What's his motive?
Money. He's his mother's sole heir. It's that simple.
It's not so simple as you think, Inspector. I heard Harvey Masters was the sole heir.
Oh, well, I read Marilyn Masters' will just a little while ago. She cut off Harvey without a cent.
Well, in that case, maybe we ought to go see him. That's a pretty good motive for murder. This is Harvey's room here. The maid said he went to bed hours ago.
I never objected to waking anybody up, Blackie.
Oh, well, I know that.
Let's go in.
Wait. I'll turn on the light. Uh-oh.
Quick, let's cut him down. He may not have been hanging very long. That chandelier doesn't look too strong.
What's the matter with you, Farraday? Can't you see he's dead?
Yeah, I guess he is.
Well, this ought to prove three things, Farraday.
What?
My friends Lemmy and Pete didn't kill Mrs. Masters. Rogers didn't kill her. But Harvey here did. Too bad it doesn't.
It doesn't? Then why would Harvey commit suicide?
Look closely, Farraday, and you'll see that he didn't. He's been murdered.
Huh?
That stool there, look at it. It's only a foot high. And Harvey is at least 2.5 feet or 3 feet off the floor.
Hey, you're right. I'm going to grab Roger Masters. He killed his mother and now his brother. And I'm arresting him before he kills somebody else.
I do declare, Blackie, it's just so thoughtful of you to drive me back to the master's mansion at this most distressing time.
Well, I was sorry you had to go to the morgue to identify Harvey's body, Georgia, but Farraday insisted. Well, here we are.
Won't you come in?
No, thanks. Well, I'll take you to your door.
I'll get out on your side, too.
All right. Here, give me a hand.
Here.
You're all right, aren't you?
Yes, of course. Thanks to you. I'm just so grateful. I don't know what to do.
Well, if you need anything, let me know, will you?
You've been so kind. You sure you won't come in?
No, I have to get back downtown. And I don't think you're going in either, unless you let go of my hand.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I just wasn't thinking. Well, goodbye.
Goodbye, Miss Aiken. When you get back to Georgia, your state can brag about one more peach.
Well, how is the so wonderful Boston Blackie?
Oh, cut it out, will you, Mary?
But Georgia thinks you're so wonderful, And I think you're so wonderful, too.
Well, that's fine.
Don't you want me to think you're that wonderful, Boston Blackie?
Do you have to like me with an accent? Now, stop it, will you? I'm trying to think.
About Georgia?
I can remember her without thinking.
That's what worries me.
Say, where did I pick this stuff up?
What stuff?
This tan powdery stuff on my fingers.
Well, let's see it.
What is it?
What? What's makeup?
Makeup.
I think the shade is suntan. In fact, I'm sure it is.
That's funny.
Darling, you didn't pat sweet Georgia on the cheek, did you?
Will you please forget about her?
That wonderful suntan of hers. I'm beginning to think it came right out of a bottle.
No, it didn't, Mary. Her tan is real enough. I didn't get this makeup on my fingers from her unless she had it on her hands.
Well, why would she have suntan makeup on her hands?
That, sweetheart, is a wonderful question.
Would it be just as good as it would be if I said it with a southern accent?
Southern, Western, or Yankee? The accent around here is on murder. Pardon me, I'm going to see Miss Georgia.
The state?
No, the girl. But if my hunch is right, I think the state is going to see her.
You might as well talk, Roger. You did it, didn't you?
We know you did it, Roger.
No, Inspector Farraday, I didn't.
You did. You killed your mother, you killed your brother.
You know you did it, Roger. Talk.
I didn't. I tell you, I didn't.
Your mother told you the diamond was missing.
You saw your chance.
You killed her.
No.
You figured the thieves would be blamed.
We know the thieves didn't kill her. You killed her.
No.
We have the thieves locked up. They confessed to the robbery.
Not to killing your mother.
We know they're not killers, but you are. Now talk.
Leave me alone. Leave me alone.
We know you killed your mother.
Because you killed your brother to cover up.
You were upstairs when your mother missed the diamond.
What do I have to do to make you leave me alone?
Talk. Admit you killed your mother.
And your brother Harvey.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes. Yes.
Yes, yes, yes.
All right. Yes, I killed.
Well, it's about time. You killed them both, didn't you?
Yes, I killed them both.
Good. Rollins, get Masters out of here.
Okay. Come on, Master.
Okay.
Now I get Blackie on the phone. I want him to know that when I want a confession, I get one.
Never mind the phone call, Farraday.
Huh? Blackie, how did you get in here?
Oh, it was very difficult. I opened the door and walked in.
Well, for once, I'm glad you're here. Now you know I can get a confession without any help from you.
You should be very glad I'm here, Farraday, because you got a confession from the wrong person.
Yeah?
Yeah. Here's your killer, Georgia Aiken.
How do you know?
Do you want me to tell him, Georgia, or do you want to tell him in your charming drawl?
I don't care what you do.
All right, I'll tell him. Faraday, your theory about how Mrs. Masters was killed is correct. Only it was Georgia who was upstairs with Mrs. Masters when she missed the diamond. So she killed Mrs. Masters, realizing the robbers would be blamed for the murder.
That's crazy. She had no motive.
Money was a motive, Faraday. Harvey told Georgia he was inheriting his mother's fortune. Georgia wanted Mrs. Masters out of the way, so Harvey would inherit it.
Then why did she kill Harvey?
Money was the motive again. With Harvey dead, she would inherit from him.
Now I know you're out of your mind. For two reasons. Harvey was hanged. How could a girl handle a big guy like that? And how could she inherit from a guy that she wasn't even married to?
I'll answer the first question first, Faraday. This little Georgia Peach is not exactly a dainty little girl. I checked and found she was an athlete a few years ago and still is a champion tennis player and swimmer.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess she is pretty strong at that. But how could she get a rope around Harvey's neck without getting banged up herself?
She probably drugged him with sleeping tablets. After he was knocked out, it was a fairly simple matter to hang him.
Yeah, I guess so. But what about question two? How could she inherit from a guy she wasn't even married to?
Look at this girl's hand, Faraday. It's beautifully suntanned, except on the third finger, left hand. There's a ring of white around it, isn't it?
Yeah, like a wedding band was on it.
A wedding band was on it, Inspector. Because Georgia and Harvey were married months ago down south. As his wife, she would inherit from him. Even you ought to know that.
But that white never showed on her hand before this.
No, it was covered with suntan makeup. But I took her hand to help her out of the car a few hours ago. Some of it came off her fingers. Here, Farraday. Take her. She's all yours.
Well, lady, how much trouble am I going to have with you signing a confession?
I'll sign anything. What do I care? I admit I killed him, and I'd do it again for a chance at the same amount of money.
The funny thing is, Georgia, Harvey lied to you. He wasn't getting a cent from his mother.
What?
And Roger got it all. So let this be a lesson to you. Next time you murder for money, make sure you kill the right people.
next booth and the curtain will rise on Bosco, the tattooed man. Bosco is magnificent as a mural, a man of mosaic. And when he moves his muscles, every picture is a moving picture.
Let's move over.
Bosco, the
Why not,
magnificent.
Mary? It's nearer the door.
Nature's greatest gift to mankind. Ladies and gentlemen, the curtain rises on Bosco, the tattooed man. Watch the pictures
Blackie, the
on
boss
his
is better
arm.
than the
It's a
show.
well-west scene, and when he
so well for the show.
Now who's being Kollmar?
Every picture is a moving picture. Look closely at the magnificent landscape on his chest. With masterful control, he moves his muscles. And soon the curtain falls on Bosco, the tattooed man. A man of 1,000 pictures in 1,000,000 colors. And if you'll move to the next curtain in just a moment, you will see the beautiful Lillian, the most gorgeous sword swallower in the world.
When she's on a diet, she swallows daggers.
The curtain rises, introducing Lillian in a death-defying act. Ladies and gentlemen, don't get excited. Everything's all right.
Blackie, did we say everything is all right?
It may be all right with him, Mary, but not with me or that girl. She has a sword right through her heart.
And now back to Dick Kollmar as Boston Blackie. Enemy to those who make him an enemy. Friend to those who have no friend.
Well, Blackie, I'm certainly glad we got out of that sideshow tent. Inspector Farraday will be here any minute.
Getting out won't help much, Mary, if Inspector Farraday finds out that we were in there.
Well, suppose we find out who killed the sword swallower before the inspector gets here.
We're not going to try to solve this case, but I am.
Uh-oh. Here's where I get left.
Left? Right. You stay here, Mary. I'll be back in a few minutes.
Where are you going?
I don't know exactly. I think I'll start with the owner of the carnival. He can probably tell me everything I want to know. I wonder where I can find him.
A sign on that wagon over there says office.
Say, that is a clue at that. I don't know how I get along without you.
Sure try awful hard.
I just have a hunch I better talk to the owner alone. See you in just a minute.
All right, I'll be over by the Tunnel of Love when you get through.
Is that a hint?
I'm subtle, don't you think?
Then you buy the ticket, Subtle.
Now, look here, you don't stand there staring at me. Now, you listen to me. One more. Now, we'll talk about it later. Come in. Well, what do you want?
I'm Boston Blackie. I'd like to see the owner of this carnival.
I'm not hiring anybody today.
Oh, you are the boss, then?
Yeah, name is Jackson. I said I wasn't hiring anybody today.
From what I heard while I was outside the door, I'd say you were firing somebody today.
Why, what do you mean?
There was a lovely little argument going on in here.
Argument? Oh, you must have heard wrong. I was just talking to Mabel here.
You called this, Mabel?
You're at a carnival, mister. Don't be surprised at anything. Mabel's our bearded lady.
Well, I never expected to meet one whisker to whisker. Glad to know you, Mabel.
Mabel can't answer you. She's a mute.
A bearded lady and a mute, huh?
Uh-huh.
Well, that's something.
You say your name's Blackie? What do you want?
To talk to you about the murder of your sword swallower.
Hey, I don't know a thing about that murder, Blackie. I'm waiting for the police now.
Maybe I can help you before they get here.
Oh, how?
I think I'd better talk to you alone.
Okay, Mabel. You better get back to the sideshow. I'll talk to you later. Now, look, Blackie, all I know about that murder is what I heard.
Hey, watch where you're going, will you, bud? Oh, excuse me, lady.
Well, Inspector Farraday, at last you've found your element at carnival. Be careful, or they'll never let you out.
So help me, Blackie, I might have known you'd be here.
Then why did you bother to come down? You know I'll solve this murder for you.
Quiet, Blackie. I want to know the owner of this carnival. Where do I find him?
You're looking at him, Farraday. Allow me to introduce Mr. Jackson, Inspector Farraday.
How do you do?
How do you do? You own this show, Jackson?
Well, yes, I do.
Farraday, is that what you call routine question number 1?
Quiet, Blackie. Jackson, what do you know about Lillian, the sword swallower? Who killed her?
What a question, Farraday. If murders could be solved as easily as all that, you wouldn't have a job, which wouldn't be bad for the community.
That's enough, Blackie. Look, Jackson, what do you know about your sword swallower?
Lillian?
Yeah.
Well, she's been with my carnival for about 3 years. Good performer, well-liked, no enemies at all.
Any love interest or anything?
Well, yes, in a way. Bob Hendricks, my chief electrician, was in love with her.
But she didn't love back, is that it?
Yes, that's just about it.
Well, I think I ought to talk to him. What's his name again?
Bob Hendricks.
I don't know my business there, Blackie. I'll bet you anything when I get this guy Hendricks, I get my killer.
You're that sure?
Why, this thing figures easy. A gal has no enemies, but she doesn't love a guy who loves her. He pleads with her to marry him. She says no. He keeps on begging. She keeps on saying no. He won't leave her alone. She wants to get rid of him. So she starts going out with another guy.
Faraday, you're wonderful.
It's simple. He gets jealous. Thinks he's going to lose her to the other guy. And so that nobody can have her if he can't, the stoop kills her.
Applause, applause.
So I'm grabbing Bob Hendricks for the murder of that girl.
Blackie.
Mary, is this what you call waiting by the tunnel of love?
Hey, what's the matter with you, Miss Wesley? You look as if you'd seen a ghost.
I've just seen good ghost material, Inspector Farraday. A dead body.
That's old stuff, Miss Wesley. That's why I'm here, to solve the murder of Lillian the Sword Swallower. And I have her killer, Bob Hendricks.
Oh, no, you haven't, Inspector. Because the body I just saw, everybody says, belonged to Bob Hendricks. Oh, maybe I should have bought tickets for the roller coaster. You are certainly not treating this like a tunnel of love.
We're not here for romance, Mary. We're here to do some quiet thinking about murder.
I see. And I guess there isn't anything romantic about murder, is there?
Romantic? Say, you may have something there.
I have something here, too. You in the tunnel of love. And so what?
So, there may be a romantic angle to the deaths of Lillian and Bob Hendricks.
Of course. Hendricks was in love with Lillian, the sword swallower. That's simple. She didn't love him, so he killed her. And that's that.
That's that, sure. But we have to name a killer for Bob Hendricks. What's that?
A problem. Got any suggested solution lying around loose?
I'm not even close to one. I wonder, could Mabel fit into this?
Mabel? The bearded lady? Blackie, you think she killed Hendricks?
Maybe. Suppose the bearded lady loved Hendricks and he loved Lillian.
Well, then why would Hendricks kill Lillian?
I didn't say he did. You said that.
I say amazing things every now and then, don't I?
Well, at least amusing. Now, listen. Suppose Mabel killed Lillian to get her out of the way.
Of course. Then she killed Hendricks because even with Lillian dead, he would have nothing to do with her.
You follow me like a little puppy, don't you?
Woof, woof.
Nice puppy. Sit up and listen to this. I think we're getting somewhere. Hendricks probably had a pretty good idea Mabel killed Lillian. That marked him corpse number 2, with 2 counts.
Sure. 1, because he didn't love Mabel, and 2, because he suspected her of murder.
Those motives for murder are so old they have whiskers. And come to think of it, so does the bearded lady.
Come in.
Inspector Farraday, here's the coroner's report on Hendricks and the sword swallower.
Thanks, Rollins.
What are you grinning at, Inspector?
I tossed Blackie and Miss Wesley off the carnival grounds. I gave them orders to stay off them for good. This is one case I'm going to solve without interference from those two.
Yeah?
I don't like the way you said that.
Well, I just said yeah, Inspector.
Yeah?
Why, yeah.
That's the way you better say it from now on. Now, what's the coroner's report have to say?
Both Hendricks and the sword swallower died the same way.
So I see. From single sword wounds, huh?
Mm-hmm. That sort of proved something, doesn't it?
It proves plenty. It proves the same person killed them, and for the same reason. Now we're getting somewhere.
Got your hat and coat on. You getting somewhere, too?
Yeah, and you're getting with me. Out to the carnival again, where you and I are going to put on a little circus of our own.
Your move, Blackie. Or is checkers boring you?
Oh, excuse me, Mary. I think I'll try this. Let's see. I'll put my king right here.
Darling, don't be upset because Inspector Farraday made us leave the carnival. It's comfy here in your apartment.
I'm not upset about it. As soon as I get an idea, I'm going to sneak back in. You'll move.
You mean we're going to sneak back in?
Since you have such a singular interest in this case, I'll make the pronoun plural. We'll sneak in.
Good.
Go ahead, move.
When Farraday called to say he was coming up here, did he say what he wanted?
Oh, that's a good move. But it's your last one. Watch.
Sometimes I hate you.
We athletes always do better on the home grounds. Want to play another game?
No, thanks.
Well, I've murdered you at checkers. Suppose we get back to the problem of who's been murdering people at the carnival.
Well, your theory is right, darling. It's the bearded lady.
If I could only get Farraday to disagree with it, I'd know it was right. That's probably my perennial suspect of the inspector. Come in.
Hello, Blackie.
Well, Farraday, I was just about to phone the police to have them look for you. I was worried.
Yeah, I bet. What were you worried about?
Oh, if you didn't show up, then he couldn't tell you how we've worked out the solution of the carnival killing. I helped.
You helped, Miss Wesley. This should be great.
It's very simple, Farraday. This is what happened.
Yeah.
The bearded lady was in love with Bob Hendricks.
Mm-hmm.
Hendricks loved the sword swallower. So the bearded lady got rid of the sword swallower.
But Bob Hendricks still didn't fall for her, so the bearded lady killed him, too.
Simple, Farraday?
You certainly are. It just so happens that I came to tell you that the bearded lady isn't a lady, but a man.
Man?
There's the phone. I'll get it.
So what do you think of your theory now, huh?
How do you know the bearded lady is a man?
Jackson, the guy who owns the carnival, told me so.
Well, I suppose he's right then, but why didn't he tell me?
Inspector Farraday's for you.
Oh, thanks. Look, from now on, don't you two give me any more phony theory.
Blackie, is the bearded lady really a man?
I guess so. That's what Jackson told Farraday.
Well, then I guess that's the end of our theory.
Good guess.
But nothing says we can't guess again.
Who'll we guess this time?
Well, Mr. Jackson, maybe.
Why?
Well, I don't know. Let's guess reasons.
Oh, fine.
Well, let's take Mr. Jackson as a suspect. Now, if...
Say, we can at that. If he waited until now to mention that Mabel is really a man, maybe it's just to throw suspicion on Mabel.
Of course it is, and you know what I just thought of?
You sit here and dream up phony theories just for your own amusement, will you? I've got to get back to the carnival.
Okay, only we have a suspect for you. Jackson, the carnival owner.
Oh, yeah? Well, Jackson has just been slugged. And maybe we're going to have corpse number 3 because they say he's going to die.
And now back to Boston Blackie. Blackie and Mary go to a carnival for fun and become involved in a murder case that so far has meant the death of 2 people and assault on a 3rd. The dead are Lillian, the sword swallower, Bob Hendricks, her lover, and Jackson, the carnival owner, is supposedly near death from a blow in the head. As we return to our story, Farraday is at the carnival talking to Jackson, who has just regained consciousness.
Now, look, Jackson, try to tell me who slugged you.
I don't know, Inspector.
But who'd want to slug you?
I don't know that either.
Did you get a glimpse of whoever hit you? Or anything we can use for a clue?
I didn't see any.
Look, Jackson, when you told me the bearded lady was a man, do you think he was anywhere around?
I don't know.
Yeah. Well, apparently you're coming around all right. That's something.
Right, Inspector, and here's someone, me.
Blackie, I told you to stay off the carnival grounds.
I bought an admission ticket by design, Inspector, and found myself here by instinct.
Well, go find yourself somewhere else in a hurry.
Look, Farraday, I've been doing some thinking.
Stop right there. You thought Mabel was in love with Bob Hendricks, and Mabel turns out to be a man.
Sure, so I just twist my theory to fit the new setup. Hendricks killed Lillian, the sword swallower, because Lillian knew the bearded lady was a man and loved him.
Yeah, and then?
And then the bearded lady killed Hendricks for killing the sword swallower.
Then who slugged Jackson here?
The bearded lady, for telling you he was a man. Do I have something?
You sure do, Blackie. Orders to get off the carnival grounds and stay off. Or the next orders I give will be for your arrest. Hey, is this the bearded lady's tent?
Yeah?
Who are you?
I'm the doctor in the sideshow. Who are you?
Inspector Farraday of the police. Now, where's the bearded lady?
She'll be here in a couple of minutes. Here she comes, Inspector.
Yeah? Good.
Hello, Mabel. How are you? There's a police officer to see you. I guess you'll want to be alone, huh? See you around, officer.
You may at that. Hey, you, bearded lady. Come here. Sit down. Oh, you can't talk, huh? But you can hear, can't you? Good. So they call you Mabel, huh? But you're a man, aren't you? Oh, just nod your head for... Well, I'm glad to see somebody admit something around here. Now, who killed the sword swallower? You don't know, huh? Who killed Hendricks? You don't know that either. Who slugged Jack? Oh, you don't know. That's fine. That's great. Doesn't anybody around here know anything? I guess not. But I can't complain. I don't know anything around here either.
At last you admit it, Farraday.
Frankie, what do I have to do to keep you out of here?
Arrest the man at the cage for selling me tickets.
I said I'd have you arrested.
You know, you wouldn't do that to a pal, would you, pal?
No, not to a pal.
As I came in, I heard you say you didn't know anything, and how right you are for a change.
I'll say I don't know anything. I don't know who killed the sword swallower. I don't know who slugged Bob Hendricks. I don't know who slugged Jackson. I don't know who's doing what, to whom, and why. And I don't know why I bother talking to you. fact, the only thing I do know is that Jackson, the owner of the carnival, is the owner of this carnival.
Give yourself a big fat zero, Farraday. I just checked. Jackson doesn't own this carnival.
The wheel is turning again, and here we go to continue with our exciting, thrilling, brain-teasing game of bingo. Think fast, and you can make money fast. The number is 5. Bingo!
Well, Blackie, we're lost again. Say, if Jackson doesn't own the carnival, who does? And how many more times should we try this game before we give up?
Another 10, Mary, and then I guess we'll call it quits. And about the carnival ownership, well...
Hold your cards, please, as we check the numbers.
Couldn't we hide from Inspector Farraday somewhere where it doesn't cost us so much money?
Diagonally, 78, 82, 3, 5. The card is correct. There's the winner. Will the lucky gentleman come up and collect his fortune?
Blackie, that's the same man who won a couple of games ago.
Yes, I know, Mary. He sat in another part of the room this time, too.
You know, I've noticed that only 2 or 3 people have won anything at all.
This game's crooked, Mary. Every winner in this place is a stooge.
Well, in that case, shall we keep on playing?
Quoth the Blackie, nevermore. You know, all those other wheels of chance we tried were gimmick, too. Did you notice the wheel always stopped on a number never covered?
Oh, darling, once in a while somebody does.
If you want to win on the wheels in this carnival, you had to show your card in the Stooges Union. Come on, let's go out of here.
But if Inspector Farraday sees you, you
It's
know...
getting late, Mary. Lights are going off. Most of the concessions are closing. I think Faraday's probably gone.
Well, all right, but let's go this way. It's near the parking lot.
Okay.
That was the last game tonight, folks. Come again when you have more time to spend and more money to spend.
It's awfully dark out here.
Well, before it gets any darker, you go get in the car and I'll meet you at the gate. I want to see Jackson a minute.
Well, don't make it more than a minute, will you? Because I'll worry about you.
That's a reason to talk to Jackson for an hour.
Oh.
I was only fooling, Mary. See you in just a minute. Wow, it's getting dark out here. Let's see. Jackson's office must be over this way. Hey, what are you... Oh! Mary, I suppose if I say, where am I, you'll hit me on the head again, won't you?
Oh, darling. You're in your apartment. How does your head feel?
No, all right now. A little dizzy, though.
I gave you sleeping pills after we got back here. Who hit you?
I know something better than that. I know who killed Lillian, the sword swallower, and Bob Hendricks.
You do? Who?
The same person who slugged Jackson.
Well, tell me. Oh, of all the times in the world for the telephone to ring.
If that's Rollins calling for Farraday, I'm Farraday.
Oh, Blackie, no.
Oh, Mary, yes. I put in the call to Rollins.
When'd you do that?
Well, you were getting the bandage at the drugstore.
All right. Hello.
Hello, Miss Wesley.
Yes?
Inspector Farraday there?
Yes, just a minute. Here, Blackie.
Thanks. Hello, Rollins.
Yes, Inspector.
Did you get that information for me?
Yes, sir, I did. He's in a convict. Skipped with 10 more years to go. Cops have been looking for him for 2 years. Is that all you wanted to know?
Thanks, Rollins. That's not only all I want to know, that's all I need to know.
Look, Blackie, put the rifle down, will you? Haven't we played around this shooting gallery long enough without getting anywhere?
We certainly have, Faraday. That's why I asked you to come down here this afternoon.
Well, stop firing that gun, will you? You haven't hit anybody yet.
Well, I'm just about to hit something. A nail on the head. Here comes the bearded lady pushing Jackson in a wheelchair.
Jackson sure recovered awfully quick from what was supposed to be a fatal blow.
Oh, there. You sent for us, Inspector?
No, I did, Jackson. How you feeling?
Fine. Wish you wouldn't fire that gun. Noise jars my head.
Okay. Hello, Mabel. How are you? Fine, huh? Too bad you can't talk. Or can you?
I told you he was a mute.
Yes, I know. But if he could talk, what a lot he could say.
Hey, what are you trying to do? Break his flat gun?
All I tried to do was break his silence, Faraday, and I did. You talk, don't you, Mabel?
All right, I talk. My name ain't Mabel, so what?
So your name is Joe Evers, and you're wanted in Kansas to finish serving a 25-year sentence.
I am I?
Yes, you are you? Last night, after you slugged me, I came to, went into your tent, found a glass with your fingerprints on it, and had Rollins check them for me. You're Joe Evers, all right.
Oh, then you're the guy I'm looking for. Evans, you're under arrest for murder.
No, I'm not.
Grab him, Blackie's making a reference.
Oh, no, he's not. I guess I owe him a poke in the face the last night.
Nice going, Blackie.
It was a pleasure. That smack he gave me last night was a beaut.
Hey, he's out.
He's going to come to for half an hour, Farraday.
Well, gentlemen, I guess this just about solves the mystery of who killed Lillian and Hendricks and who slugged me.
It certainly does, Jackson. Well, I always get my man.
And always the wrong one, Farraday. Jackson here is your murderer.
Me?
Yes, Jackson, you. You're hired by a syndicate to run this carnival. Your chief source of revenge, or rather revenue, is bingo and the crooked gambling wheels and the midway booze. I know, I tried them all. What's more, Lillian, the sword swallower, found out the wheels were crooked and threatened to go to the police.
Well, what if she did? I wouldn't kill her for that.
You would if the syndicate ordered you to, and the syndicate said it was either her life or yours.
Well, then why did he kill Hendricks?
Hendricks was in love with Lillian. She had told him about the crooked games. When he found Lillian dead, he knew who'd killed her. Jackson had to get him out of the way, too.
Oh, what's the matter with you, Blackie? Jackson here was an intended victim himself.
Intended is right. He intended us to think so, Farraday, by hitting himself on the head. Everything Jackson's done and said points to the fact that he was trying to divert suspicion from himself and place it on Joe Evers, posing as a big lady.
You're right, Blackie. Jackson, I'm holding you on suspicion of murder.
Oh, no, you're not, Blackie. I'll take that gun you're holding. There. Now, both of you stand right where you are. Blackie, maybe you couldn't hit a target with this gun, but I can. You and the inspector make excellent ones if you try to stop me.
Let him go, Blackie. We can get him later.
I can handle him, Farraday, now.
Take one more step and I'll shoot.
Go ahead, shoot.
Blackie, you all right?
So far, maybe he needs more than one bullet to stop him.
Blackie!
I'm all right, Farraday. As soon as I get this gun.
Oh, you get it.
I've got something to help me. This.
Blackie, you better get to a doctor quick.
So help me, I honestly think you're worried about me, Farraday.
But, Blackie, you've been shot 3 times.
Remember how you kidded me for missing the targets in the shooting gallery there?
Well, never mind about that now. Come on, let's get you to a doctor.
Look, Farraday, I missed those targets because I'd loaded this rifle with blanks. That's what it was loaded with when Jackson was firing at me. I know that I'd never get him to confess, but I thought if I faced him with the evidence, he'd make a break for it and grab a gun to do it.
So you made sure he'd grab a gun loaded with blanks. Now, you double-crosser, you had me thinking you were a brave guy. I'd be brave, too, against a gun full of blanks.
Quit complaining, Farraday. You've solved another murder. When I forced Jackson to make a break, believe me, he gave you one at the same time. Sorry, the movie was so bad, Mary.
Oh, it's not your fault, Blackie. And besides, I think we walked out early because you weren't in the mood for a movie.
Wait, I'll open the door for you. It's funny, it's locked.
Funny, that's amazing. I didn't think the door to your apartment was ever locked.
No, I guess I locked it by accident when we went out.
Well, I'm glad to see you used keys to open the door. Turning honest, huh?
Oh, I jimmy my own every now and then, just to keep in practice.
You don't need it.
Well, I'll tell you what I do need, something to do. We walked out on that movie so soon, we still have an evening to kill.
Well, I know the first thing you can do. You can turn on the lights. It's dark in here.
How's that?
Oh, Blackie, you're wonderful.
Yeah, that's what I keep telling myself.
That's where I must have heard it. Darling, the dining room doors are closed. Why?
None of your business.
But they're never closed.
They're closed now.
What are you hiding?
Nothing. You stay out of there, and I mean out.
Oh, now you have me curious.
You go in the dining room, and what you just said will be famous last words. I'll get the cards out of the den.
Don't hurry.
Now, you behave yourself.
Yes, Daddy. Now, just what is he hiding in there? I'm going to see. I wonder... Blackie!
Mary, I told you not to look in the dining room.
No wonder you didn't want me to look. You're hiding a dead man in there.
And now back to Dick Kollmar as Boston Blackie. Enemy to those who make him an enemy. Friend to those who have no friend.
Mary, you have to listen to me. Now, please.
Oh, no, Blackie. You don't pull anything like this on me and get away with it. Goodbye.
Wait, Mary, please. Believe me, I didn't know that body was in the dining room.
Oh, you didn't. Then why were the dining room doors closed?
Because I closed
And why
them.
was the apartment door locked?
I don't know. I told you I must have locked it by accident.
And I suppose it was just an accident that you didn't want me to look in the dining room.
I can explain that,
You
Mary.
don't have to explain anything. It's all very clear. I've strung along with you through every jam you've been in, but this is too much. You're hiding a body in your apartment. I saw it. I've never believed you ever did anything wrong, but this time I have to. I saw it with my own eyes.
Mary, what's the matter with you?
There's nothing the matter with me. It's what's the matter with you. I don't know what you've done or why you had to kill that man, and I don't want to know. I'm through.
Mary, please, don't go.
Your telephone's ringing. If it's Inspector Farraday, try to talk yourself out of that body in there. Goodbye.
Mary, wait, will you?
No.
Oh, now what? Hello.
Hello, Blackie. This is Charlie Kingston.
Charlie, I can't talk to you just now. Let me call you back, will you?
Look, Blackie, this is urgent.
It'll have to wait, Charlie.
But it can't.
Now what have you done? Gambled a $100,000 diamond again, or let one of your employees swindle you out of $3 million?
Look, Blackie, this is no time for jokes. I have to see you right away.
It may be a long time before anyone can see me, Charlie, even you. I have a dead body up here.
What?
A dead body, spelled C-O-R-P-S-E. And I'm calling the police right away.
But I need your help first. Now, don't call the police until I've talked to you about the trouble I'm in.
Oh, all right. Where are you now?
I'm at my apartment. You've got to be up here right away.
Now, let's get this straight, Miss Smith. Your house was robbed by two men at what time tonight?
About 8:30, Inspector Farraday.
You were in your living room. You heard a noise upstairs, went up to investigate, and saw two men stepping out of your bedroom window onto the porch roof. But you didn't get a look at their faces, huh?
No, I'm sorry I didn't, Inspector.
So then you got your pistol out of the closet and got to the window in time to fire one shot at them, huh?
Yes. By the time I got to the window with my gun, the men were running across the lawn, but I'm sure I hit one of them.
Yeah.
He fell just after I fired, and the other one helped him up.
Is this the gun you used, Miss Smith?
Yes, it is, Inspector. I have a permit for it.
Well, I'll have to keep this a while. Just routine.
That's perfectly all right.
Now, this paper here contains a list of everything the two men stole.
As near as I could make out with a quick inventory.
Yeah,
Really, the only thing of value is a pearl necklace with a ruby clasp.
I see.
I'd certainly like to have that back. It cost $5,000.
You'll get it back, Miss Smith, as soon as we get one or both of the men who robbed your house. And the way I work, say how long can that be?
I don't know, Inspector. Do you?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, hello, Jenkins.
Oh, good evening, sir.
Where's Mr. Kingston, Jenkins? He said he wanted to see me right away.
Mr. Kingston isn't here, sir. He hasn't been for 3 days.
Well, of course he's here. He phoned me from here less than half an hour ago.
Mr. Kingston's in Chicago. I'm not expecting him until tomorrow.
But I talked to him myself. He said he was here and for me to come right over.
Someone must be playing a joke on you, sir. Mr. Kingston's phoned me from Chicago only an hour ago, sir.
Well, somebody's crazy.
Are you sure it was Mr. Kingston on the phone, sir?
Yes, Jenkins, I'm sure of it. I'd know his voice anywhere. Tell me, is Mr. Kingston in some kind of trouble?
No more than the usual trouble all important businessmen are bound to have, sir.
Well, thanks, Jenkins.
You're welcome, sir. Good night, sir.
Good night, Jenkins. And what a night. What's the matter with me? Did I lock my apartment door again? Now the phone. Quiet, will you? I'm going to answer you. Hello?
Blackie, this is Mary. I've been trying to reach you.
Oh, hello, Mary. I just got in.
Blackie, I want to apologize.
Forget it, will you?
I just didn't think. I was so shocked seeing that body on your dining room floor.
I understand.
But will you forgive me?
Tell me why I shouldn't.
Well, I accused you of killing that man, and I know you didn't.
Now you sound more like the Mary Wesley I know.
You mean more like the Mary Wesley who knows you.
Maybe that's it.
Oh, darling. Are the police on their way up?
No, not yet. I haven't called them.
Oh, Blackie, but you have to.
Oh, I'm going to in just a minute. I had to go out. I had a call from Charlie Kingston to come over to his house right away.
Oh, how is Charlie?
I don't know. He wasn't there, and he hasn't been there for 3 days.
I thought you said he called you from his house.
Well, that's the weird part of it. That's what he told me, exactly.
Were you sure it was Charlie?
Yes, I'm sure of it, but Jenkins, his butler, says Charlie's in Chicago.
Funny.
Yes, but not funny, ha-ha.
Yeah, I know how you feel. That body in your dining room is funny, too, but not funny, ha-ha.
Just think what a big laugh it'll be if Farraday comes in and finds that body here before I get around to telling him.
I wish you'd told me about it before I looked in the dining room.
Believe me, Mary, I really didn't know it was there.
Well, then why did you tell me not to look in the dining room?
I had a reason.
I'm sure you did, darling, but I'd like to know what it is.
Well, I'll tell you. Wait, Mary. There's the doorbell. I'll call you back.
All right. Bye.
Bye. Come in.
Hello, Blackie.
Why, hello, Farraday, old pal. Oh, what do you say we go downstairs and have a nice hot cup of coffee?
I just had a nice hot cup of coffee.
Well, then join me while I have one.
All right, Blackie. What's up here you don't want me to see?
Me?
Very funny, Blackie. But I'm not in the mood for jokes tonight. There's a guy going around town with a bullet wound in his chest and a $5,000 pearl necklace in his pocket. The pearls have a ruby clasp.
You don't say.
I do say.
But why say it's me?
Because it was a two-man job. They got away with the jewelry, but not before one of the men got a bullet through him.
Who shot him?
The gal they robbed, Jacqueline Smith.
I still say, why tell all this to me?
Well, maybe you didn't listen to me. I said it was a two-man job. One man was shot. That could have been your pal Shorty. The other one might have been you.
Okay. Where do I sign the confession?
I said the other one might have been you. You mind if I look around?
Yes, I do mind, but I'm sure that won't stop you.
That's right. I guess I'll start with the dining room.
Oh, Farraday, I have a wonderful kitchen.
Yeah, I know. But this dining room, I've never seen those doors closed before.
No?
Now, keep away from me. I'm opening this dining room door.
Now look, Farraday. Don't get any ideas.
I thought you were the one who said I didn't have brains enough to get one. Well, Hey, what's the idea of the gun in your hand?
Farraday, didn't you... Wait a minute.
What's the matter with you? Have you lost your mind? I turn around, you got a gun on me.
You didn't see a...
I didn't see anything.
Well, there isn't anything in the dining room?
No, but there's something in your hand. A gun.
Oh, I'm sorry, Farraday. I was just taking it out of my pocket to put it away.
Yeah. Well, put it away then, will you?
Sure. How's this in the drawer here?
Oh, that's better. Now I can look around the rest of this joint without keeping an eye on you.
Specifically, Farraday, just what are you looking for besides trouble for me?
A wounded man and a pearl necklace.
Well, I don't know where I'd keep a wounded man around here, but if I had a pearl necklace, I think I'd keep it in my safe.
All right. Let's start with the safe.
It's right here on the wall behind this picture.
Oh, you've been seeing too many movies.
I think you're right, Farraday. As a matter of fact, Mary and I walked out on one about 11 o'clock tonight.
What are you trying to do? Establish an alibi? Come on, hurry up. Open that safe.
It's never locked, Farraday. Even you could open it. A little practice. All you do is this.
Come on. Take the stuff out. Let me have a look at it.
All right.
Hey, what's this?
A string of pearls, Farraday, with a ruby clasp. But so help me, I've never seen them before.
Well, look what I have, Blackie. A gun. And you've never seen this before.
Farraday, believe me, I don't know how these pearls got here. You don't have anything on me.
I don't have anything on you, huh? Only the goods and a gun.
And now back to Boston Blackie. Mary Wesley discovered a man's body in Blackie's dining room after Blackie warned her not to look in that particular room. Mary leaves in a huff, and Blackie gets an urgent call from his friend Charlie Kingston to come to his house at once. Blackie goes to his house, only to learn that Kingston has not been in town for 3 days. Back in his apartment, Blackie is forced to let Inspector Farraday search the place. Much to Blackie's relief, the dead body is missing, but Blackie's in a jam when Farraday finds stolen pearls in Blackie's safe. As we return to our story, Farraday is getting ready to take Blackie to headquarters.
If you take me to headquarters for this, Farraday, you'll only be making a fool of yourself.
Look, Blackie, that pearl necklace is hot, and it was in your safe.
But I tell you, I don't know how it got there.
Well, I do. You put it there.
Look, if I'd known it was there, would I have opened the safe as willingly as I did?
I don't know.
You know I wouldn't. For Pete's sake, I'm not that stupid.
Nobody is. Not even you.
Now put that gun away, will you?
No. And now that you mention guns, you pulled a gun on me when I went to look in the dining room. Why?
You'll never believe it, Farraday.
I never do anyhow. Why did you yank out your gun when I looked in the dining room?
Because I thought there was a dead body on the floor in there.
A dead body? You expect me to believe that?
No. I told you wouldn't.
If there was a body in there, why isn't it there now?
I don't know.
Well, do you know how it got there?
No.
I suppose it walked in there, laid down and died, then decided it didn't like the place, and so got up and walked away.
Faraday, along with all the other things that have happened tonight, that wouldn't surprise me at all.
That body in your dining room. Ha! Look, if you have to lie to me, Blackie, why don't you tell me something I can believe? Anyhow, I belong at headquarters, and that's where I'm going.
And you're not taking me with you. This is really an unusual night.
No, I'm not taking you with me. But I am taking these pearls.
What are you going to do with them, Inspector? Give them back to the oysters?
No, but if Jacqueline Smith identifies them, I'm going to shut you up like a clam.
Who is it?
Open up, Mary. It's Blackie.
I know, Blackie. Don't tell me. Inspector Faraday's chasing you again.
I won't tell you, Mary, because he isn't exactly.
Do you mean you haven't called the police about that body yet?
I didn't have to, Mary. Faraday came up to see me of his own accord.
Oh, I can just imagine what happened when he found the body.
Then you have a wonderful imagination. He didn't find it.
What?
It disappeared as mysteriously as it appeared.
Oh, Blackie, you're joking.
I wish I were. I also wish I knew how a string of stolen pearls got in the safe in my apartment.
Stolen pearls?
Stolen at about 8:30 tonight from the home of Jacqueline Smith by two men. Smith shot one of the men, but they both got away.
Well, Blackie, I have it. That body in your apartment is the man who was shot by the Smith girl. He came to your apartment wounded, put the pearls in your safe, and then died.
That's what I've been figuring, too, except that it doesn't make sense. I didn't know the dead man.
Well, at least that shows I was thinking.
Yeah, I've got to do more than think. I've got to make...
Hold it a minute, darling. Hello?
Hello, Mary.
Yes?
Mary, this is Charlie Kingston.
Oh, Charlie, where are you?
If that's Kingston's, I want to talk to him.
I'm at home, Mary. Is Blackie there?
Yes, just a minute. Blackie wants to talk to you.
He wants to talk to me. I want to talk to him.
Here.
Hello, Charlie. Where are you, in Chicago?
No, I'm at home. I've been calling you all over town.
Look, what's going on? You called me earlier tonight and told me to meet you at your house.
Yes, I know, and Jenkins told you I was in Chicago.
Well, what's the idea?
I told him to tell everybody that. Now, look, Blackie, I want to see you right away.
Well, that's what you said once before.
I know, and I want you to meet me here at my house.
You said that before, too, and you weren't at home.
Look, I can't explain over the telephone, but I'll be waiting for you this time.
You'd better be.
Hurry, will you, Blackie? Bring Mary and put plenty of gas in your car. I'm going somewhere, and you've got to drive me.
That's a switch. All night long, things have been driving me crazy.
Where are we going, Charlie?
To my country lodge, Mary.
Look, Charlie, I'm in no mood to make excursions out into the country in the middle of the night. I have troubles in town.
And so do I, Charlie.
Well, look, you haven't done anything but tell me where to drive and sit there and watch for police cars. Either tell me what's worrying you or let me worry about my own problems.
When I tell you what's been worrying me, your troubles will be over. When we get to my lodge, you'll find the body you saw in your apartment.
Oh, what?
Charlie, what have you been up to?
My neck, trying to help someone. Now listen.
Oh.
The dead man's name is John Sully. He used to be my chauffeur in Chicago. He called me yesterday and said he was in town and was going to see his wife for the first time in 10 years.
Is that important?
I'm just telling you everything from the beginning. Turn at the next crossroad, will you?
I know the way to your lodge.
Go on with your story, Charlie.
Well, the next I heard from Sully was last night. He phoned and said he was in trouble and had a string of pearls he had to get rid of. He begged me not to call the police, and so I told him to come up to my house.
This is making a lot of sense. His body ended up in my apartment.
He said he was hurt and couldn't make it to my house. He was near your place when he phoned, so I sent him to your apartment. I knew your door was always unlocked, and I knew you were out with Mary.
Oh, I see what happened now, Charlie. Sully went to Blackie's apartment, locked the door, and then died. Blackie and I walked out of the movies early and found him before you did. And then you telephoned, got Blackie out of the apartment, went to Blackie's yourself, and took that body out.
That's exactly what I did, Mary. In fact, I was in your building, Blackie, when I phoned you. I saw the lights on in your apartment and phoned to see if you'd discovered Sully.
No, I found him all right. His body.
Well, that's why I called you away from your apartment. I didn't want you in trouble for something I'd done. So after you left, I went upstairs, took the pearls from Sully, and hid them in your safe, and then brought his body out here to my lodge.
Speaking of your lodge, Charlie, here it is.
I put his body just inside the door. Come on.
Hey, wait for me.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mary. Here, give me your hand.
Thanks.
Here's the key to the door, Blackie. Open it, will you?
Thanks.
Blackie, what are we going to do with this body?
The only thing we can do, Mary, take it to Farraday.
Is that smart, Blackie?
It's smarter than carting it around the country. Wait, I'll turn on the light.
Well, there's the body again.
Yep, it's the same one, all right. Killed by a bullet wound in the back. From fairly close range, too.
Well, shall we take it back to town?
Yes, Charlie, then you and Mary take it to Farraday.
What are you going to do?
I'm going to see this Jacqueline Smith. She can identify Sully as one of the men who robbed her house. I can prove to Farraday how those pearls got into my safe, and I'll be in the clear. Clear? I know it's rather late, Miss Smith, but I'm Boston Blackie, and I have a few...
I know. Boston Blackie can be excused for anything, or so I've heard.
I'm beginning to worry about what you've heard, but that's beside the point. Miss Smith, you fired at one of the men who robbed you, didn't you?
Yes, I think I wounded one of them.
You did more than wound him, Miss Smith. He's dead.
Oh, dead. How awful.
Well, you really shouldn't feel that way about it, Miss Smith. You want to be blamed for what you did.
You know, I never thought... Well, I just can't bear the thought that I killed someone.
Maybe you'd better sit down.
Yes, I think I'd better.
The man's body is at the police morgue, or will be very soon. I'm afraid you'll be asked to come and identify it if you can.
Do I have to?
It's routine in cases like this, Miss Smith.
But there'll be pictures in the paper, won't there? And a story?
There might be, yes.
But there can't be. I'm being married next week to Roger Vincent. His family's so stuffy, they'll never understand if I'm in the paper for killing someone.
Don't worry about it. Your name is Smith, and there are so many Smiths in this town, the Vincent family will never notice it.
Just look at this guy and let me know if he's the man who robbed you, Miss Smith.
All right, Inspector Farraday. I'll try.
Roll him out, Joe.
Yeah. Steady yourself, Miss Smith. There's nothing to this.
I'm all right. Thanks, Blackie.
All right, Joe. Pull back the sheet a little. And there. Is that the guy, Miss Smith?
I don't know. I didn't get a very good look at him.
Well, can't you make a positive identification?
No, I'm sorry. I can't. I just got a glimpse of those men going out through the window.
Okay, Joe. Roll him back in.
Oh.
I'm sorry I can't be of any help to you, Inspector.
You didn't have to be, Miss Smith. I just wanted you to see the body as a double check. I already knew this was one of the guys who robbed you.
You do? How?
The gun you gave him. My ballistics report shows it's the gun that shot and killed this guy.
I'm awfully sorry.
Sorry? Why should you be sorry? You know who this guy was? John Sully, with a police record longer than a roll of ticker tape. Thanks to your marksmanship, I have just one less crook to worry about.
Farraday, I'm ashamed of you. I never thought you, an alleged officer of the law, would compliment a murderess.
A what?
I certainly hope you're trying to be funny.
Maybe you think murder is funny, Miss Smith, but I don't. You didn't just kill John Sully, you murdered him. And there's a big difference.
Why should I kill him? I'd never seen him before.
Yeah, Blackie. How do you answer that?
Very simply, Farraday. John Sully used to chauffeur for Charlie Kingston.
So what?
So a few days ago, he told Kingston he was going to see his wife. They'd been separated for 10 years, but she'd suddenly written that she wanted to see him.
And what kind of a story is this? A Lonely Hearts melodrama?
It's the story of a very clever plan for murder, Farraday. When Sully went to see his wife, she gave him a string of very expensive pearls, saying he could sell them. Then, as soon as his back was turned, she shot him.
What is this to do with me?
It has a lot to do with you, Miss Smith, because you're John Sully's wife.
That's a lie.
Then it's a very strange coincidence that court records in this town show that 11 years ago, John Sully married a Jacqueline Smith. I looked at those records myself before I came to see you.
Oh, I see.
So you'd never seen this man before, huh?
Not for 10 years, I hadn't. I knew him when I saw him here, but I didn't want to admit that I was his wife, not with the police record he has. And I didn't see him when he robbed my house. All I saw were the figures of two men.
That's right, Blackie. It could be coincidence that she shot her own husband. thinking he was just a robber.
Yes, it could be Farraday, except for one thing. Just an hour ago, this woman told me she was going to marry Roger Vinson next week. How would she feel free to marry unless she knew her husband was dead?
Hey, Miss Smith, how about that?
I heard he was dead several years ago.
You knew he was dead or dying, Miss Smith, because you shot him. And not while he was running across the lawn, as you said, but while he was standing not 2 feet away from you.
Oh.
Powder burns on his coat prove that.
Catch her, Blackie. She's fainted.
I've got a Farraday. She's passed out. But you've got her for murder. Satisfied now, Mary?
Of course I am, Blackie. As soon as I got home, I phoned you and apologized, didn't I?
So you know I'm not the killer?
I'm not sure about that.
Hey, what do you mean by that, Crack?
Well, on occasions you kill me.
Oh, Mary, that's terrible.
Oh, I know it is. I'm sorry. I'm sorry I was so curious about what you were hiding in the dining room, too.
Oh, let's not go into that again.
Now, wait a minute. There's just one little point you haven't explained yet.
Uh-oh.
I have you, don't I? Just why didn't you want me to look in that dining room?
Must I tell you tonight?
Tonight.
Can't it wait until tomorrow?
Why can you tell me tomorrow, not tonight?
Because, my curious little friend, tomorrow is your birthday.
Oh.
And if you hadn't been so shocked by that body on the dining room floor, you'd have seen that my dining room table is covered with birthday presents for you.
Oh, Blackie.
So, happy birthday, Mary. And many happy returns of the day. But let's hope we never have another night like this.
I've cleared the courtroom. You may proceed, Mr. District Attorney.
Thank you, Your Honor. I'd like to call Mr. John Bernard to the stand, please.
Raise your right hand.
All right.
You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? So help you God.
I do.
Take the witness chair.
Thank you. What is your name?
John Bernard.
What is your relation, if any, to the defendant, James Williams?
I'm his cousin, first cousin.
Can you point him out in the courtroom?
Sure. That's Jim Williams in the center chair at the first table there.
All right, Mr. Bernard. Now let me read you a transcript of what you said to Inspector Farraday of the police on the night James Williams' wife was murdered. I saw James Williams shoot and kill his wife. I was standing in the doorway of the murder room when it happened. You said that to Inspector Farraday, Mr. Bernard.
Yes, I did.
Good. You stood there and saw Williams fire the shot.
No, sir, I did not.
What do you mean, no, sir? You made that statement to Inspector Farraday.
Yes, I did, but I was lying. I didn't see Jim kill his wife.
Order! Order in the court! You lied to Inspector Farraday? Why?
Because the police beat me. They put lights in my eyes. They yelled at me. They hit me with rubber hose and ropes. They said they beat me until I said Jim killed his wife, so I said it to make them stop. But I did not see Jim Williams kill his wife. Inspector Farraday made me say I did.
Look, I didn't get to be district attorney by believing a pack of lies, Farraday.
But, DA, I tell you, it was Bernard who was lying.
When was he lying? In your office or on the witness stand?
On the witness stand.
I don't think so. A man's a fool to perjure himself in the court of law. I think he was telling the truth on the witness stand. You beat that statement out of him.
Oh, I didn't touch him. He walked into my office and identified Jim Williams of his own free will.
You mean he agreed to identify Jim Williams after you beat him half to death?
I didn't touch him, I tell you.
Farraday, how many times do I have to tell you the evidence you bring me doesn't mean a thing unless it stands up in court?
Well, I brought you Williams's gun, didn't I? With his fingerprints on it.
He could have picked it up after it was fired.
Or I proved Mrs. Williams was killed by a bullet from Williams's gun, didn't I?
Somebody else could have used his gun?
I tell you, DA,
You're not going to tell me anything, Farraday. But I'm going to tell you something. I managed to get this case recessed for 48 hours.
Yeah, I know.
Then you might as well know this, too. You have 48 hours to find who's responsible for the shot that cost Mrs. Williams' life. Or it'll cost you your badge.
Blackie.
Hello, Farraday. What's that between your hat and your collar? A face or a sagging sack?
Hurry up and get the wisecracks over with, Blackie. I want to talk to you.
Oh, cheer up, Inspector. Your face is so long, if you don't walk carefully, you'll kick yourself in the chin.
Blackie, I need your help.
Yes, I know it. What did you say?
Okay, I know. I've complained because you helped me on other cases and griped when you solved them for me. But this is one time I know I need your help. And I want it, too.
Sit down, Farraday, because I have to. After this.
Thanks, Blackie. Blackie, I got trouble. The Jim Williams case.
Never heard of it.
It's been in the papers and on the radio for weeks.
I've been too busy to bother about it.
Well, look. I have all the evidence against Williams. His wife was killed with his gun. I found his fingerprints on it. And I have a witness who saw him do it. His cousin, John Bernard.
You mean you can't convict Williams on evidence as strong as that?
No, because at the trial today, John Bernard changed his testimony and said I beat him into accusing Williams in the first place.
Which is probably just what you did do.
Blackie, I didn't lay a finger on Bernard. He came into my office of his own free will and accused Williams of the crime.
That's what you say.
Blackie, have I ever lied to you?
Well,
never mind. Believe me, I didn't beat Bernard into saying Williams killed his wife. I didn't touch him. Something made Bernard lie in court. And I've got to find out what within 48 hours or lose my job. Now, will you help me, Blackie?
Inspector, I have no interest in this case whatsoever. It doesn't concern me, and I don't want to get involved.
But all you got to do is help me find out what made Bernard lie in court today.
I'm not interested in him. I never heard of him, and I don't ever want to hear the name John Bernard again.
Oh, Blackie, I made that... Oh, hello, Inspector.
Hello, Miss Wesley.
Yes, Mary.
Blackie, I made that call for you. John Bernard lives at the Barclay House. We can see him any time now.
Blackie, I ought to break your neck.
Well, you'd have known sooner or later I was working on the case. I just didn't want you to know it now.
I'm...
Maybe I shouldn't admit it, Blackie, but I didn't think you'd let me down. You never have, and, well, unless something stops you, I guess you never will.
Apartment 11B. If you got the right information, Mary, this is Mr. Bernard's apartment.
Well, darling, I talked to his maid on the phone, and she said 11B.
In a moment, we'll see if it's B.
Yes?
We'd like to see Mr. John Bernard, please.
I'm sorry, he's not in.
Open the door a little wider, will you? I like to do more than get my words in edgewise.
I said Mr. Bernard is not in.
Well, then we'll come in and wait for him.
Please, Mr. Bernard doesn't want to see anyone.
Except us. I just decided that for him. Come on, Mary.
Oh, Blackie, maybe he isn't here.
Hazel, what's the matter out there?
What'd you say, Mary?
Oh, nothing.
These people insist on seeing you, Mr. Bernard. I told them...
Hazel.
You may go.
Yes, sir.
I don't think I know either of you.
Oh, I'm Boston Blackie, and this is Miss Wesley.
How do you do?
Hello. We don't always insist on breaking in where we're not invited, Mr. Bernard. Only at times.
And why is this one of those times?
You were the chief witness today at the trial of Jim Williams.
So, that's the reason.
Is it safe to talk here?
Safe? If you mean, are we alone? We are. The only other person living here is my Aunt Florence, and she's out for the evening.
What about the maid?
Well, what about her? What about this melodramatic secrecy? I've nothing to hide.
All right. How well do you know Jim Williams?
Oh, I used to see him once in a while. We're cousins, you know, but not very close.
What about his wife? Did you know her well?
I hardly knew her at all.
In other words, they were almost strangers to you.
You might say that.
You had no interest in them whatsoever.
No, none at all.
Well, then why did you tell Farraday that your cousin Jim killed his wife and then change your story in court?
I gave my reason on the stand. The police beat me into saying my cousin killed his wife. I lied because I don't look well in black and blue. But I told the truth on the stand.
Look, Bernard, I'm not completely stupid. I know Farraday didn't beat you up. You gave him that information voluntarily, and you intended to give the same evidence on the stand. But something made you change your mind. What? Talk, and I'll protect you.
I don't want protection. I don't need it. I told the truth where the truth would do the most good. Now get out of here, both of you, before I become annoyed.
All right, Bernard. That's the way you feel about it.
That's exactly the way I feel about it. Hazel? Oh, Hazel.
Yes, Mr. Bernard?
I think these people are leaving. Did you see them to the door?
Yes, sir. Right this way.
Come on, Mary.
I'm right with you.
Goodbye, Bernard. If you change...
My mind? By now you ought to know I have no reason to. Goodbye. Goodbye, Miss Wesley.
Goodbye. Right this way, please.
I think we can find our way out, thank you, Hazel.
May I speak to you outside a moment?
What'd you say?
Shh, please. Will I close the door? Is this supposed to be private? No, but it has to be quick. Meet me on the lower deck of the Van Island ferry at 8:15 tonight. And I'll tell you something about Mr. Bernard you'll be very glad to hear. Why, Blackie, why didn't you tell me the Van Island ferry was so much fun? I could do this often.
Next time I keep a date with a maid, I'll let you know, Mary.
Oh, there is your girlfriend, leaning up against the rail. Want me to stay here?
No, you can come along and be an attractive third wheel.
You make another date with her, and I'll be an attractive third rail.
Mary, you're positively electrifying.
Well, just remember that, will you?
I'm sure you won't let me forget. Hello, Hazel.
Hello. I didn't see you getting on the boat. I was afraid you weren't coming.
We said we'd be here. Now you tell us why we're here.
I think I know who killed Mrs. Williams. What?
Well, Hazel, how good are you at thinking?
It isn't just what I think. I know. I'm certain Mr. Bernard killed her.
Bernard?
You mean the same Mr. Bernard we talked to today? He did it. I know he did.
But that doesn't make sense. Mr. Bernard killed Mrs. Williams. He'd have testified in court that Williams killed her. He wouldn't clear Williams of the crime which he practically did today.
Oh, I don't know about that. But Mr. Bernard had good reason to kill Mrs. Williams. She was terribly in love with him. Well, he said he didn't even know her. Oh, he was lying. She came to his apartment almost every day. She even wanted to leave her husband and marry Mr. Bernard.
So Bernard killed her. I doubt that.
Listen, Mr. Bernard didn't want her. But the day of her murder, she said she was going to leave Mr. Williams and give Mr. Bernard as the reason. And he said he'd kill her if she mentioned his name to Mr. Williams.
I wish I could believe all this is proof that Bernard might have killed Mrs. Williams, but I can't.
Why can't you, Blackie?
Because it doesn't make any sense. The police have evidence against Jim Williams. All they needed to convict him was Bernard's testimony. Yet Bernard's testimony is going to free Williams.
Oh, I don't care. You know about Mr. Bernard now. Do what you want with what I told you.
Thanks anyway, Hazel.
Blackie, stop her. She's climbing over the rail. Stop her.
Too late. She's in the water.
Blackie, what are you doing?
I'm going in after her.
Inspector Farraday is in the spot. He has obtained testimony that proves Jim Williams killed his wife, yet in court, his star witness refutes his testimony, saying he gave it under duress. So Farraday comes to Blackie for help, and Blackie and Mary Wesley go to see the witness, but cannot find out why he changed his story. The maid in the house, however, meets Blackie and Mary on the Van Island ferry, and after telling a few facts which put the lie to the witness's story, jumps overboard. Blackie jumps in after her. As we return to our story, Blackie and the maid have just been pulled aboard ship.
You all right now, Blackie, darling?
No, still a little wet, Mary, but that's all. How's Hazel?
She's all right, thanks to you. We've got her lying down over there. Now, please keep that blanket around you.
All right. Let's go over to see it.
All right.
Why didn't they let me die?
Hello again, Hazel.
Oh, please leave me alone. Why didn't they let me die?
Maybe because I first wanted to find out why you felt like dying.
Blackie, it was because of him.
Him?
Who's him?
John. I love him so.
John Bernard?
Yes. Yes.
Well, if you loved Bernard, why did you insist he killed Mrs. Williams?
Oh, Blackie, you ought to know the answer to that one.
He ignored me.
Sure, there's your answer.
Some answer.
I want to die. I want him to die, too. If I can't have him, I don't want anyone else.
And there's your logic.
Some logic. Take it easy, Hazel. You don't want to die. If Bernard did kill Mrs. Williams, no one will get him but the state. Come on, Mary.
Oh, let me die. Why didn't they let me die?
Well, Blackie, Hazel seems pretty sure that Mr. Bernard killed Mrs. Williams.
He certainly had a reason.
He told us he hardly knew the woman, and now we know she came to see him almost every day. Or is Hazel lying?
No, somehow or other I believe Hazel's story, but I can't believe Bernard killed Mrs. Williams. If he had, he'd have done everything he could to help the police send Williams to the chair.
Well, yeah, I should
But
think
between
so.
the time he identified Williams for Farraday and the time he sat in the witness chair, something made him change his story.
But what?
We can find what that something is. We can find the answer to the whole thing. And we've got to find it.
Oh, we're coming into the dock, darling.
Oh, good. As soon as we land, we got to find something else.
Now what?
Something very important, Mary. A telephone. Hello, Inspector. This is Blackie.
Blackie, where are you? Have you got anything on Williams? We haven't got much more time.
Relax, Farraday. I know you're in trouble. But do you still have enough influence at headquarters to get me inside Jim Williams' cell?
What do you mean, enough influence? Sure I do.
Good. I'll see you in your office in about 2 hours. I'm soaking wet. I want to change my clothes before I try to find why Bernard changed his testimony. Look, Farraday. When we get to Williams' cell, I'm going to do all the talking. And you're not going to say a word, understand?
I'll do my best.
Do it nice and silently, then.
All right. Williams' cell is right where the guard is standing.
Evening, Inspector Farraday.
Open up, Smith. We want to talk to Williams.
Yes, sir.
Hello, Williams.
Leave me alone, will you, Inspector?
I sure will. It's this fella here who wants to talk to you. His name's Boston Blackie.
Okay, Inspector, you can go in now.
Boston Blackie, huh?
Thanks, Smith. Lock us in, will you?
Sure.
Sit down, Williams. This is a friendly visit.
Yeah, Boston Blackie, huh? What are you doing mixed up in this?
Trying to unmix it.
Yeah? What does that mean?
It means I'm here to help you.
Thanks, but I don't need help.
Look, Williams, I think you can get out of this.
What do you mean you think? I know.
But you're still in jail, Williams. You won't be completely free until the police find the man who really killed your wife. And I think I know who he is. Your cousin, John Bernard.
Look, I don't care who you prove it is. The police thought they could pin it on me because John said he saw me kill her. Well, you know what John said at the trial, and it clears me, but good.
Yeah, come to think of it, Williams, I am doing a lot of worrying for nothing. You're just as good as free without help from anyone.
Well, I've stood about all this I can take. You're out of your mind, Blackie, and you're staying in jail, Williams. I have to put you into a secret cell and wall it up.
What's the matter with you, Farraday?
Nothing's the matter with me, Williams. I just know when I have my man, that's all. I have proof your gun killed your wife. I've got your fingerprints on it. And you've got no alibis.
Your clincher was supposed to be Bernard's testimony, Inspector, but he wouldn't say he saw me kill her. Because he didn't.
Well, you can still get 20 years on the evidence I have on you. Witness or no witness.
Oh, do you think you're kidding?
I'm not kidding anyone. There's plenty of evidence against you yet, Williams. It won't send you to the chair, but it'll send you to jail for a long time.
Hey, Blackie, is that right?
I told you to keep your mouth shut, Farraday.
Well, I couldn't stand you telling this guy he's going to go free.
Come on, let's get out of here. Open up, Smith.
Yes, sir. Look, Blackie, wait. Is this guy telling the truth? Do they still have a rap on me?
I'm afraid they do, Williams.
Okay, Inspector.
Come on, Blackie. You too.
I'm out.
Look, wait, will you? Blackie, wait a minute, will you? Quiet, Williams. The gas test is over.
Nice work, Farraday.
What do you mean, nice work?
You never disappoint me, Inspector. I was hoping you'd blow your top and put a scare into Williams. Now that you've done such a nice job of it, I'll go back and talk to Williams alone. All right, Williams. We're alone. Now you can talk.
Listen, Blackie, you got to get me out of this. I'll pay you anything.
Anything?
You name it, I'll pay it.
You're in a tough spot, Williams. I may have to charge you more money than you've ever seen in your life to get out of this.
Look, Blackie, in less than a year, I'll have more money than I've ever seen.
In less than a year?
Yeah. I'm getting it from an uncle when I'm 35. $250,000, my lawyer says. It's been left to me in my uncle's will.
How do I know you're telling the truth?
Well, my lawyer's name is Arthur Colton. He's got the will in his office safe. He'll show it to you.
Okay, I'll look at it. If I like what I see there, I'll see that you get out of here.
Blackie, what if Farraday catches us opening a safe?
In that case, Mary, we've got a lawyer already made. This is a lawyer's office, remember?
Oh, I wish we'd been able to get in touch with Mr. Colton. I'd hate to have you break into his office.
Well, I don't like doing this either, but Faraday's 48 hours are up at 9 o'clock tomorrow morning, so if there's a clue in this safe, we need it now.
Well, let's hurry then and get out of here. You can open it, can't you?
There are only a few locks I can't, and this isn't one of them. Quiet. Let's see.
Was that it?
That was it.
Oh, Blackie, you're wonderful.
I know, but keep reminding me, will you? I like it.
Well, somebody's got to say somebody's wonderful in this team. My goodness, I've never seen so many ledgers in one safe.
We don't want the ledgers. All we need is the strong box, I think. I'll know in a second when I open it.
Heavy?
No, I don't think it has anything in it but papers. Uh-oh.
What's the matter?
The lock on this strong box. It's one of the few kinds I can't open. Farraday. Farraday. Wake up. Come on, wake up. Wake up, will you?
Blackie, what are you doing here? This is my house, not my office.
What are you doing in bed when I'm up trying to get you out of a jam?
Oh, sorry. I had to get some sleep.
Oh, I see what your motto is. Let Blackie do it, huh?
Say, how'd you come out with Williams?
I don't know yet. Let me have your skeleton keys.
What did you say?
Let me have your skeleton keys.
The great Boston Blackie wants a key? What for? Not to open a lock?
Yes, to open a lock.
I never thought I'd live to see this day.
Look, if you don't give me those keys and I don't find what I want in this box, maybe you'll wish you weren't alive to see it.
The keys are in these trousers on my chair. Here's the bunch of them.
Thanks.
You know, Blackie, with a key in your hand, you look as funny as a machine gunner with a cap pistol.
No, he doesn't fit.
What do you got there? Strong box?
No, a steamer trunk, midget size. Yeah. No, that key doesn't work out.
Now, the trouble with you is you don't know how to use a key. You do much better with a hairpin or a piece of wire.
There. That key did.
Nice going. All right, what's in the box?
A will, I hope, leaving $250,000 to Jim Williams on his 35th birthday.
Whoa. All I got on my 35th birthday was 3-5.
So your jokes improve when you're in trouble, Farraday. Maybe I ought to leave you in this mess.
The will inside?
Yes, here it is.
What's it saying?
Let's see. Usual whereases and wherefores.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm looking for the part I want.
Well, find it, will you?
Wait a minute. Here it is. Now, read this.
All right. I do bequeath to my nephew, James Williams, the sum of $250,000, which shall be given to him on his 35th birthday. If James Williams shall die before he has reached the age of 35, the entire amount shall go to the Wetter Home Foundation.
Brilliant, Farraday. You can read.
Well, what does this prove? Williams won't be 35 for another year, almost, and I'm going to send him to the chair before that.
That's right. But first you have to find out why John Bernard changed his testimony in court.
I know that, but this will isn't any reason.
Isn't it, Farraday? See the next paragraph of the will? Read that. Bernard will tell the truth now, because now we know why he lied.
Proceed with your witness, Mr. Bernard.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Bernard, will you tell us what you saw on the night Mrs. James Williams was killed?
I was at Jim's apartment with Jim and his wife. She was going to leave him. In fact, she was packing. I was standing in the bedroom door. Jim and his wife were in the bedroom. Suddenly, Jim pulled a pistol out of his pocket and shot his wife. She fell. Jim ran out of the door. I ran over to her. She was dead.
Can you point out James Williams in this room?
Yes. That's Jim Williams. In the center chair at the first table there.
Why you stay?
Your Honor, the state rests.
Blackie, I hate to do this, but I guess I have to thank you.
You mean this is one time you've come up to my apartment not to arrest me? Farraday, you must be sick.
I think it's the DA who's sick, Blackie. He has to apologize publicly to Inspector Farraday.
I'm going to my office for the ceremony now, Miss Wesley. You want to come along, you two?
No, thanks, Farraday. If I'm there won't be room enough for your swelling head.
Blackie, not even your wisecracks can make me mad today. So long.
Bye.
So long, Inspector.
Well, Blackie, I know what happened, but I don't know how.
Well, it was the second paragraph in the will that did it, Mary. We needed a reason why Bernard changed his testimony. A reason why he wanted Jim Williams to live.
And it was in that paragraph. Yes, I know, Blackie. Oh, darling, do I have to beg you to tell me?
You look awfully cute when you're begging.
I'm not cute, I'm curious. Now, come on, tell me, please. Why did John Bernard want Jim Williams to live?
All right. To begin with, if Jim Williams were to remain alive, he inherited $250,000 on his 35th birthday. Otherwise, the money went to charity.
Right.
But half of that money belonged to John Bernard. So he had to see to it that Williams remained alive.
Got it. I'm surprised at myself. Bernard found out about the will after he had been to see Farraday and before he went to court. So he changed his testimony.
Yes. And now he's going to change his address. From the Barclay house to the big house.
Blackie, you're a creature of habit. We have eaten in this restaurant every Tuesday for weeks. Do you know that?
I've got another habit, Mary. I pay the check when we're through eating, like now. Let's go, huh?
I'm ready.
I'd better take you straight home if you want to be there before your cousin arrives.
Oh, well, she'll wait for me, I hope.
Say there's a cab outside. Run out and see if it's vacant, will you?
Right.
I'll pay the check and be right with you.
I think we have that cab, Blackie. The flag on the meter's up.
Good.
Your check, sir?
Oh, here you are.
Thank you.
Now, here's your money.
Oh, no, the meal is on the house, Mr. Peterkin.
Thanks, but I'm not Mr. Peterkin.
Ha, but I know better. We're proud to have your patronage, Mr. Peterkin.
I'm not Mr. Peterkin. I'm Boston Blackie, and I'm giving you your money.
And I'm returning it to you, Mr. Peterkin. Please, with the compliments of the house.
Look, I tell you, I am...
forced me to tear up the check. There. Now you can't pay a check that does not exist.
All right. But believe me, there's been some mistake.
No mistake, I assure you. For you, there shall never be a check, Mr. Peterkin.
Now back to Dick Kollmar's Boston Blackie. Enemy to those who make him an enemy, friend to those who have no friend.
Oh, Blackie, you won't forget to get that watch for my cousin, will you?
Don't worry, Mary. The jewelry store is open till 9 tonight. You'll have it this evening.
The one we saw in the window?
Mm-hmm. I think she'll like it, don't you?
Oh, well, if you see one you think she'll like better, get it. You know more about watches than I do.
1011 Dale Avenue, miss. Here we are.
Hold the flag, driver. I'm going on.
Right.
Don't bother to see me to the door, Blackie. I'll be all right.
You always are. I'll call you later.
Now, you won't forget to get that watch, will you?
Right, Mary, I promise. I'll have a messenger deliver it.
Thanks, darling. Night.
Night. 51 Sunset Parkway, driver, and step on it.
You don't have to tell me where you live, Mr. Peterkin.
What did you call me?
Mr. Peterkin, Mr. Peterkin.
Now, wait a minute.
And if you think this haul is going to cost you anything, you're wrong.
Now, look here.
It's a pleasure to have you in my cab. So there's no charge. Not for the famous Mr. Peterkin.
Good evening. I'd like to see a watch, please, like the one you have in the window there.
I think you mean this one, don't you, sir?
Yes, that's it.
It's a lovely thing.
How much?
$90, sir, but naturally...
Naturally what?
Naturally, there'd be no charge for you, Mr. Peterkin.
Now, wait a minute. My name is Boston Blackie.
You're very modest, Mr. Peterkin, but I happen to know who you are, and I'm proud to give you this watch.
I tell you, I am not Mr. Peterkin. I'm
now,
Boston...
please, Mr. Peterkin, I meant no offense.
Look, this is the third time in the last hour that someone has called me Mr. Peterkin. I am not Mr. Peterkin, and I am not accepting the watch without paying for it. Here's $90.
But I couldn't take the money from Mr. Peterkin.
Maybe you can't take it from Mr. Peterkin, but you can take it from me. And take it from me, you're taking that $90. Here. And do me a favor, will you?
believe my name is Boston Blackie. Do you understand?
Of course, I understand. Your name is Boston Blackie, Mr. Peterkin.
Oh, Mary, the watch is beautiful. You shouldn't have done it.
You really like it, Trudy?
Like it? It's the most beautiful watch I've ever seen. But you've certainly spent a lot of money on just an ordinary cousin.
I haven't spent it yet. Blackie got it, and I haven't paid him for it. And besides, you're not just an ordinary cousin.
Oh, it's lovely, Mary.
Oh, I told Blackie not to have it engraved for you. Until after you'd seen it, that is. Now, be honest with me, Trudy. Is it really the kind of watch you like?
Oh, who wouldn't like a watch like this?
Well, all right, then. You can have it engraved this evening. Blackie said he got it at Brandon's. That's not far from here. We can run right over.
Oh, I'd like to, Mary, but my train leaves at midnight, and there are some things I have to do downtown before train time.
Oh, I see.
I'll have it engraved when I get back.
Well, all right. I guess that... Wait a minute. I can take it over to Brandon's for you. I can have it engraved and send it to you.
Oh, Mary, would you take it over to the jeweler's for me? That'd be wonderful.
Well, sure. Let's see. It's 8 o'clock now. I can take the watch to Brandon's right away, call for it tomorrow, and send it to you then.
You're sure it won't be too much trouble?
Trouble? This, Trudy, promises to be the least troublesome night of my life. Knock on wood. Oh, Blackie, please be home, please. Oh, Blackie, please, please.
Hello?
Oh, Blackie, this is Mary.
Hello, Mary. How'd your cousin like the watch?
Never mind about the watch. Come down to Brandon's jewelry store and right away.
What's the matter?
Plenty. Mr. Brandon's... Oh, Blackie, Mr. Brandon's dead.
Brandon's dead?
Murdered. What do I do now? I never found a body before.
Turn off the lights, pull down the shades, lock the front door, and I'll be there in 20 minutes.
Open up, Mary. It's Blackie.
Coming.
Are you all right?
I don't know. I think I've aged.
Sure, 20 whole minutes. Where's the bunny?
It's over there behind the counter. You want me to turn on a light?
No, raise the shade a little bit, will you? The window. The street lamp will be light enough.
Is that high enough?
Yeah. I can see the body now. Mm-hmm. It's Mr. Brandon. He waited on me a little over an hour ago.
And sold you the watch?
Yep. Funny thing, too. He insisted that my name was Peterkin. I had to force him to take money for the watch.
Oh, Blackie, you're joking.
I think he was. I wonder if it was some gag of his, and the next customer he pulled it on didn't like it.
What are you talking about?
I wish I knew. Uh-oh. Somebody's opening the front door.
Oh, my gosh, it's a special policeman.
I'll do the talking, Mary. Good evening, officer. We were just about to send for one of your gang.
Whoever locked this door a few minutes ago sent for me. I forgot to throw the alarm switch, and we got a signal at our headquarters. What's the matter down here?
Do you know the owner of the store?
Sure, Sam Brandon.
Would you know him if you saw him dead?
Huh? Dead? Where?
Turn your flashlight over there, at the aisle between the two counters.
Where? Like this? I don't see.
Is that Sam Brandon?
It sure is. Don't move, either of you. You're both taking a little ride to police headquarters.
Blackie, you're here at police headquarters so much, you'll be made a sergeant soon. I'm not surprised to find you here. But, Miss Wesley, you're something new.
Inspector Farraday, you don't think we killed Mr. Brandon, do you?
Of course he does, Mary. Doesn't he always?
I most certainly don't think you killed him.
Farraday.
But I'm plenty sore at you, Blackie. And disappointed in you, Miss Wesley. Don't either of you know better than to get mixed up in these things?
Well, when I found the body, I didn't know what to do.
You should have called the police. Right away.
I told him not to, Farraday. I wanted to have a look at the body before anything was moved.
Oh, you did? Well, take your body out of here and out of this case. And keep it out.
But Farraday...
Don't argue with Inspector Farraday, darling. Come on, let's go.
Just a minute, Mary. Just a minute. Farraday, are you sure you're all right?
Well, I've never felt better in my life. And you've never been cleared of murder any faster in your life.
What have I done to clear myself but wait here in your office?
While you waited, I found out when Brandon was killed, what kind of a gun killed him, and where you were at the time of the murder. You're clear. So clear out of here. Both of you.
Farraday, I want to congratulate you. For once, you've proved you're the good cop I always thought you were.
Get out of here. Yeah?
Inspector Farraday?
Yeah, what do you want?
I'm Robert Winston of Belvedere Insurance Company, claim agent.
Oh, yeah. Your office said you're on the way down. In connection with the murder of Sam Brandon, huh?
I'm going to have to ask you for a little help, Inspector.
Well, I'll do everything I can.
I understand the police found 2 people with Brandon's body.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, these are those 2 people now. Boston Blackie, Miss Mary Wesley.
Hello.
How do you do? These people are under arrest, of course.
No, they're not. All Miss Wesley did was walk in the store and find the body. All Blackie did was come down and wait with her until the police arrived.
You aren't holding him?
Well, how can I? I don't have grounds.
My company will give you grounds, Inspector. Until our part of this investigation is complete, I demand that you hold these 2 people on suspicion of murder.
And now back to Boston Blackie. This has been a strange evening for Boston Blackie. 3 times by 3 different people, he's been called Mr. Peterkin. But this is nothing compared to what happened shortly after. When Mary walks into Brandon's jewelry store with a watch Blackie had bought there an hour earlier, she finds the owner dead. When Blackie joins her in the store to start an investigation, they're both found there by the police. And though Inspector Farraday sees no reason to hold Mary or Blackie for Brandon's murder, an insurance agent demands their immediate arrest. As we return to our story, Robert Winston, the insurance agent, calls on a certain diamond dealer.
Are you Mr. Bill Jackson?
Yes, I am Bill Jackson. You wish to see me?
Yes. Where'd you get the Yankee name? You're slightly foreign, aren't you?
Slightly, but my name, it was so hard to pronounce, so difficult for you Americans to spell, I decided to take one of your names. So I'm Bill Jackson.
Well, I'm Robert Winston, Mr. Jackson, claim agent for the Belvedere Insurance Company.
I am insured, thank you.
Oh, you don't understand. I'm not selling insurance. I'm investigating an insurance claim.
Oh, you must be in the wrong establishment, sir. I have made no claim.
No, of course not. But maybe you read in the papers about the death of Sam Brandon.
Ah, yes. It was such a shame, a terrible thing. The papers say it was murder. Is that so?
Yes, I'm afraid it was. Did you deliver any of the pieces of jewelry here on my list to Brandon?
Let me see. Yes.
How many of those pieces did you deliver, Mr. Jackson?
Why, all of them.
I was afraid of that.
Afraid? How do you mean, sir?
Brandon insured them against theft with us, and they're all missing $100,000 worth.
Good heavens, Mr. Winston. I gave those jewels to Mr. Brandon on consignment. Am I to lose all that money?
No, of course not. My company will pay every cent Brandon owes.
But if I'm not paid, I will be ruined.
Don't worry, Mr. Jackson. You'll get paid. But first, I'm going to see Inspector Farraday and get him to charge Boston Blackie and Mary Wesley with murder and robbery. Look, Inspector Farraday, here's a list of the stuff that's missing from Brandon's store. Look at the size of it.
I see the size of it, Winston.
Then why did you let Blackie and the Wesley girl go?
Because I know they didn't rob Brandon's store or kill Brandon.
Look, did you do your job at least up to the point of searching Blackie and a Wesley woman before you let them go?
Sure, but that was just routine.
Do you have a list of what you found on them?
It's right here on my desk. But all they had on them were their own personal possessions.
Let me see the list.
Help yourself.
Blackie had a pocket knife, small coins, various bills, but the usual stuff you always find in a man's pocket.
Now will you be happy?
Let's see the list of Miss Wesley's things.
Here. What a list it is. Why do women carry all that junk?
She had a silver comb, silver wristwatch, lipstick powder, various bills, small coins. Gold Ajax wristwatch.
Well, so what?
So look on this list of items taken from Brandon's store. 1 gold Ajax wristwatch. Did you see that gold wristwatch yourself?
Yeah, I did.
Describe it.
Well, it was an Ajax square case, a convex crystal. The face of the dial was yellow, and the band was a black cord with a gold clip.
Look at the description on this list of the Ajax watch missing from Brandon's store. Square case, convex crystal, dial yellow, numerals Roman, black cord with gold clip. What does that sound like to you, Inspector?
The watch I found in Miss Wesley's purse.
And that watch was stolen from Brandon's store. That's all I need, Inspector. I want you to arrest Mary Wesley.
All right, Winston. Maybe I've got to.
Don't bother leaving your office. Just give me one of your men, Inspector, and I'll bring Miss Wesley here myself.
Hello?
Hello, Blackie. Mary.
Anything the matter?
Oh, nothing particularly. I was just reading in the paper about the Brandon murder. I see they still don't know why he was killed.
Oh, they probably find out it was a robbery, Mary. And all Farraday has to do is to find some of the stolen articles, trace them, and he'll find Brandon's killers. I'm more concerned with that Peterkin angle. I can't figure out who changed my name and why.
Oh, Blackie, there's somebody at the door. I'll call you back.
Wait, Mary. Are you expecting anyone?
No, I'm not.
Well, look, Faraday's been much too quiet. It isn't like him to leave either one of us completely alone after we've been found with a body. So leave the phone off the hook. Your caller may be the inspector.
Yeah. Just a minute. Oh, I get it. If it's the inspector or someone else from the police department, I'll steer them over near the telephone so you can hear, huh?
Good girl. Now let them in.
Right. Come in.
Miss Wesley?
Oh, Mr. Winston. How's the insurance business?
Fine, Miss Wesley. Fine.
Do you always bring a policeman when you make your calls?
No, only in cases like this, Miss Wesley. That gold wristwatch you had in your bag.
Oh, that. It was bought at Brandon's by Boston Blackie. I had it in my purse.
Never mind how you got it, Miss Wesley. Do you lying to somebody else? This watch is stolen property. Get your hat and coat. You're under arrest.
Now, just a minute, Mr. Winston. Blackie, are you still there?
Yes, Mary, I'm here, and I heard everything.
What do I do now?
Go to headquarters with Winston. You won't be there long. Somehow I feel Mr. Peterkin is mixed up in this, and I'm going to find out how before I get mixed up entirely. Closing my favorite restaurant rather early tonight, aren't you?
Oh, you?
Yes, Mr. Peterkin, remember?
What's the idea of the gun?
What was the idea of calling me Mr. Peterkin?
Well, that's your name, isn't it?
You know very well it isn't.
Well, maybe I had you confused with somebody else. I have to go home now.
I'll take you home in this cab here. Convenient, isn't it? I've had it waiting here just as it was waiting here last night when you called me Mr. Peterkin.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay, cabby. We're ready.
Sure thing.
You first, my friend.
Of course.
Where to, buddy?
Don't you mean where to, Mr. Peterkin?
Huh? Oh, it's you, huh? Well, where to?
Drive to the edge of town and then keep on going.
That'll be some fare. I get extra for going outside the city limits.
Don't you remember? I'm Mr. Peterkin. I don't pay for anything.
Oh, no?
Look, both of you. We're going to play a little game.
What kind of a game?
A game called Peterkin.
Your name is not Peterkin?
Yeah. Ain't it Peterkin?
No, it isn't. And I'll tell you a funny little story. Only one other person in this world called me Mr. Peterkin. And do you know where he is now?
No.
In a morgue.
Dead?
He doesn't work there.
All right, we made a mistake. We thought you were Mr. Peterkin.
Who told you to think that?
Nobody.
Say nobody to me once more, my friend, and you'll be a body. Or have you forgotten this gun in my hand?
Look, if we tell you, then what?
Shut up, you.
Shut up, you. Go ahead, driver.
I don't know anything except it was a joke.
Well, make me laugh, and maybe I'll let you live. But as for you...
The driver's telling the truth. It was just a joke.
Who told you to call me Peterkin?
Brandon, the jeweler, but we didn't know who Brandon was until we saw his picture in the paper today.
Yeah, he gave us no to call you Peterkin. He said it was a gag.
It certainly was, on him. Take me to police headquarters, cabby.
You want to turn us in, are you?
No, I'm not turning you in. But I think I'm on the verge of turning a killer up.
Hello, Farraday speaking.
Inspector, this is Bob Winston.
Now what do you want?
Boston Blackie.
I tell you I'm looking for him. But I can't find him.
Well, you'd better find him. I've questioned Miss Wesley, and she insists Boston Blackie gave it a watch. Now, you get me Blackie.
I'm trying to.
Well, stop trying and get him.
Look, Winston, when I can't find Blackie, he can't be found. Hello. Hello. He hung up. That's good. Come in.
Hello, Farraday.
Blackie, I've been looking everywhere for you.
Well, I haven't been everywhere, Farraday. Maybe that's why you didn't find me.
Look, Winston made me put Miss Wesley in jail, and he wants you.
I know that.
Well, I hope you know something else. I'm going to arrest you, but I don't want to.
Oh, go ahead and arrest me, Farraday. I won't mind. If you book me under the name of Peterkin.
Peterkin? What are you talking about?
A little plot to make it look as if I robbed Brandon's jewelry store. It's a crazy story, Farraday.
Yeah.
Brandon paid a restaurant cashier and a cab driver to call me Mr. Peterkin and refused to take money from me.
Why?
So that when I walked into his store, an hour later, and he called me Mr. Peterkin and refused to take money for his watch, I'd walk out without a sales slip. That's all he needed to make it appear that the watch was stolen, which he was going to claim later.
When you said that was a crazy story, you were making an understatement. I can't believe a thing like that, Blackie.
Look, Farraday, of all the stuff stolen from Brandon, what's turned up?
Only the watch found on Miss Wesley.
That backs up my story, because all Brandon needed to establish the fact that his store had been robbed was to have the police find one missing article.
He wanted to establish the fact that his store had been robbed. Blackie, that sounds as if Brandon robbed his own place.
I think he was in on the deal, Farraday. And the merchandise, supposedly stolen, is just hidden somewhere. Do you have a complete list of the missing property?
Sure, right here. Look at the length of it.
Some haul.
But, Blackie, if Brandon robbed his own store, why was he killed? And who killed him?
His accomplice, probably. The motive? To keep from splitting with Brandon. Say, according to this list, everything stolen from Brandon was delivered by the same wholesale jeweler. Bill Jackson.
Yeah, on consignment, too. But Brandon was insured, and Jackson is going to get his money just the same.
Doesn't it seem rather odd to you that, with the exception of the watch, Brandon was robbed of only the jewels he'd bought from Jackson?
Say, that is funny, isn't it?
It's funny enough to make Jackson laugh himself sick. Suppose Jackson never delivered these diamonds, and Brandon then reported them stolen. Jackson still has his diamonds, plus a cut of Brandon's insurance money.
Then Jackson was Brandon's accomplice.
Maybe, unless Winston was.
Winston? You mean he was in for a split of the insurance payoff?
Winston's been trying awfully hard to prove that Mary and I robbed Brandon's store. All he needs is proof of robbery to get his company to pay the claim. You see what you can find out about him. I'm going to call on Jackson. Can you tell me anything about him?
Sure. Well, he talks with an accent, for one thing.
What kind?
I just talked to him on the phone. It's hard to tell. Central European, maybe.
Like this? Inspector Farraday, I am Edward Blackburn. It is good to see the police working for justice.
Well, that's pretty close. But what's the idea?
If you want to talk to a guy, it is sometimes smart to talk his language.
Mr. Blackburn, it is good to talk to someone from the old country.
You would do business with someone from the old country, Mr. Jackson, of course?
Of course.
I am a bit embarrassed. The duty on jewelry is high, as you know. I intend to...
Forget to declare it?
Yes, forget.
I think we can do business, Mr. Blackburn. How much do you want to spend?
I can put my hands on $50,000.
I can let you have twice that amount in jewelry, Mr. Blackburn.
I am afraid I do not have that much money.
Just let me show you what I have in my safe. Here, I will open it.
Fine. Ah, magnificent, Mr. Jackson. Never have I seen such jewels.
Yes, and everything in my safe is for sale, and at a special price.
Why a special price?
I do not ask you questions. You do not ask me questions.
Do you mind if I use your phone? I do not have this much money on me. I shall have to send for it.
Yes, go ahead.
You will select for me $50,000 worth of the jewelry from your safe.
Gladly.
You are indeed the man to do business with, Mr. Jackson. I can see that.
Farraday speaking.
This is Blackburn.
Blackburn?
I have found...
Yeah, Blackie.
Yes. I have found the jewels I want. You will bring the $50,000?
Jackson has everything?
Mr. Jackson is everything, my friend. Hurry. We'll be waiting for you. You should have seen Jackson's face when Farraday walked in, Mary. It was wonderful.
How long did it take Jackson to confess to Brandon's murder?
About 5 minutes.
Why did he kill him?
To keep from splitting the insurance money with him.
And he killed Brandon just after you left with the watch you bought for me. Well, Blackie, was that planned?
When I left Brandon's store without a sales slip for that watch, Jackson was in the back, and Brandon told him the plan had worked. And then all Brandon had to do was to call the police and tell them his store had been robbed. That was the moment Jackson was waiting for.
I'm surprised you got away posing as Mr. Blackburn when you talked to Jackson.
Oh, I am a wonderful actor.
You certainly are, darling. But how did Brandon work that Peterkin act so beautifully?
Well, in the first place, he saw us looking at watches in his store window several times. He was standing in the doorway at the time, remember?
Oh, I see now how he was sure his plan would work. He then went to our restaurant and arranged for the cashier and the taxi driver to call you Mr. Peterkin and all that.
And then after I came in and bought the watch, Brandon intended to call the police and describe me as the person who robbed the store. Have the police pick me up and find me with the watch.
Yeah, but things didn't quite work out that way, did they?
No. Jackson got greedy and didn't want to cut Brandon in on the tape. So he killed him, and that's that.
Certainly is. You know, for a while I thought Mr. Winston had something to do with all this.
Well, he didn't. I've got to leave now, Mary. Will you call me?
Will I call you what?
Anything. Anything at all except Mr. Peterkin.